Ground-type Pokémon trainer. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51, Chucho and AI Conflict. And now I have an urgent need to pee and I feel like I can't hold it back. The woman in the black dress was still in a panic and couldn't give any instructions. Squatting on the ground, covering her face with her hands, she said embarrassedly, "I feel so embarrassed when people see that I'm a narcissist. If word gets out, I'll definitely be laughed to death. What should I do? What should I do?" Liu Xin gritting her teeth, she lifted the woman in the black skirt up, lifted her bangs, and stared at her. Their eyes met completely without any obstacles. So clean and white. For a moment, Liu Xin was shocked. The woman in the black skirt was not ugly, but very pretty. The eyes are clear and clean, with exotic golden pupils that are intoxicating. The face is delicate and shy, with a layer of light red. From a distance, it looks charming and charming. The movement of her small mouth, combined with the nervous and bewildered expression, was undoubtedly a critical blow to Liu Xin. Isn't he so pretty? He is now about 11 or 12 years old. Will he be able to grow up in the future? Liu Xin, who was still thinking about asking for directions rudely, instantly softened and whispered, "You don't need to worry or be shy at all, because you are not a narcissist, but the truth is that you are beautiful and black is also very suitable. You just need to be more confident in yourself. It's beautiful." Hearing this compliment, the woman's eyes sparkled, and she opened them wide in anticipation. "You're beautiful, be confident." Even more happy, and looking forward to it. Is it possible that she rarely receives praise? Liu Xin suddenly felt that she was in big trouble. Only after saying that she was beautiful a dozen times did the other party feel satisfied. "Sister, can you use the bathroom with me now?" He was interrupted again mid-sentence. "That's right, you've praised me so many times that we are considered friends, right? I'll tell you my name, Chucho and AI. Just call me Zio AI from now on." Liu Xin tentatively called out, "Classmate Zio AI." It would be interesting if the phone made a sound at this time. After all, the name is a bit dramatic. Just eliminate the classmate. This is unconventional. "I don't know your name yet." Liu Xin, "Just call me by my full name." The two chatted for a while and seemed to understand each other. But Liu Xin couldn't hold it in any longer and said with trembling legs, "Auntie, can you let me go to the bathroom?" "Oh yes, actually, the bathroom is just opposite here. I'll take you there." 5 minutes later, Liu Xin walked out comfortably, looking completely liberated. Looking at Hatsukura AI, whose eyes were covered by Liu Hey, he was a little curious. "As long as you look good with your hair up, how can anyone not praise you? Good looks will affect you." Chucho and AI didn't know what to do and said aggrievedly, "I don't know how to do it, and I don't know. And no classmates have told me, so." Liu Xin listened to him and said with a smile, "That's easy. I'll help you transform it. Take me to your school cafeteria or convenience store to buy a hair tie. I'm sure it will make you look better." "Hey, it's not good. Wait a minute." Hatsukura AI's voice came. The excited Liu Xin was not affected at all and was directly taken away. Pokémon Academy, food stall. There are indeed a lot of goods here, and there are also a lot of hair ties suitable for Hatsukura AI. It's just that the other person is shy and hides behind him, not daring to look at others at all. A little shy. Liu Xin felt that he felt good and that he was trusted. "How about this? I found out that you prefer black. Would a black headband be better?" Liu Xin quickly decided on a headband that was similar in color to Moon EV. The main color is black, while the auxiliary color is a light golden pattern, intertwined. Very beautiful. But there are people who feel the same as Liu Xin. A pretty woman also took a fancy to this hair bow and shouted at Liu Xin, "This is the hair bow I looked at first. Get out of here and don't compete with me." "Hey, I have such a bad temper. If you can persuade me kindly, I can leave, but will I be able to endure this? In fact, Liu Xin has the same temper as her own Pokémon. I'm sorry, my hand touched it first, so this belongs to me, not you. First come first served, understand? The girl was a little angry, pointed at the sign and said, then just follow the rules. Rules? What rules? Hatsukore I knew that Liu Xin was not a student of the Pokémon Academy, so she quietly explained the notice. Because the Pokémon Academy has little contact with the outside world, most of the resources and items are not duplicated, so there are many students. Later, the canteen established a rule. When competing for the same item, the only solution is to have a Pokémon duel. Only the winner has the right to purchase it. After Liu Xin found out, she immediately took over the duel. According to the shop owner's arrangement, the two of them came to a special battle location, surrounded by many competing students. Evidently, the daily showdown in this canteen is in full swing. HMPH, if you dare to snatch something from me, you will never die. You will be beaten to the ground later, Chucho and AI whispered to the side. Liu Xin, come on. She said confidently, don't let me beat you until you cry later. It's still too late to admit defeat. The little girl didn't bother to laugh. Among her peers, she had never been afraid of anyone. Throwing the Pokeball in her hand, come out, Shuttlecock. A plant-shaped Pokémon with a round, green body. It has stubby arms, feet, and tail, large flat ears on both sides of its head, and a yellow flower on top of its head. The Shuttlecock has oval red eyes but no pupils. She still looks very cute and attractive. Liu Xin couldn't help but complain. Why is the master of such a cute and quiet Pokémon so irritable, arrogant, and unreasonable? You kidnapped me into the Pokeball? You are the one. All your treasures, Kemeng, are abnormal catches. Bah, bah, bah. They were all obtained through sneak attacks. As for the giant rock snakes and land sharks with super fangs, they were caught through group fights without practicing martial arts. There is nothing wrong with using abnormal means. Liu Xin needs to be exposed to both rain and dew, so he can't just call every battle Karakura. The decision is yours, little mutant elephant. Little elephant. The moment he stepped out, flames shot into the sky, and his fighting spirit was high. This guy's bellicosity level is more than 1.5 points higher than Karakura. He is a Pokémon that just wants to fight. You can feel the strong fighting spirit in the smoke coming out from the tip of your nose. Shuttlecock Grass couldn't help but retreat, feeling disgusted and uncomfortable with the heat wave spreading out. Shuttlecock Grass, use the fairy wind to drive the opponent away. Chapter 52, Confrontation of Perseverance, Product of Victory. Fairy Wind. Shuttlecock Grass's entire body glowed purple, and its aura power constantly emerged. It absorbs the surrounding wind and waves, gathers them into its small body, and instantly expands. The mutated little elephant watching from a distance began to prepare to attack, and roared at Liu Xin. Liu Xin quickly issued an order, use a spray of flames, to give the opponent a powerful blow. With a great sigh, the flames on its back merged with the airwaves and launched out. On both sides, it inhales and then deflates. The speed is neither fast nor slow. Completed at the same time, launched at the same time. The fairy wind condensed by the flying grass exudes a lavender color, and also contains the power to confuse the mind, giving the attack a bit of soul shock. After the jet of flame merges with the air, it becomes much more powerful, not to mention its lethality. A huge battle was fought, and a small opening opened in the central area, causing the breeze to blow freely. Both sides are Pokémon good at special attacks. I didn't expect to be able to catch my Shuttlecock Grass hit, but I won't have another chance. Use the seed machine gun. The small mouth took a deep breath, and the sides instantly swelled. Immediately, it rushed out fiercely, quickly attacking one after another with a clear goal. Turn round. The little elephant directly shrank into a ball, protecting itself with its hard shell, and all the seeds were ejected. Neither side caused any real damage to the other in this round. But Liu Xin took the initiative and ordered, use earthquakes and earth spikes, block, and attack the opponent with all your strength. Shuttlecock's feet began to tremble, the surrounding ground began to crack, and an earthquake occurred. Dodge. As a flying type, Shuttlecock can easily dodge and cannot hit at all. The ground spike is also a bit short and has no effect at all. All attacks are solitary. Ground Pokémon is my favorite to fight. Attributes can immobilize you to death, and the flyer can fly, so you have no chance. Many benefits at all. But who is Liu Xin, and who is Xiaoxiang? They are not simple existences. The little elephant's eyes are shining with anger, and his fighting spirit is even greater. The flames on his back began to burn more intensely, as if they wanted to devour everything. The temperature in the air has risen a lot, and the wind and waves blowing by are emitting heat and spreading in all directions. How hot! Hatsukura beside him couldn't help but distance himself. The mutated little elephant with all its firepower at this moment was really not easy. Liu Xin smiled confidently. If he looks down on us, then defeat them. Let them see how strong our combination of ground and fire is. The mutated little elephant is not idle. Fire attribute, it will be in vain, unless you use the combination. Flames began to intertwine on the earth thorns, and the piercing fire circulated in them, emitting frighteningly high temperatures. Shuttlecock Flower and the little girl are a little strange. What's going on? Just light a fire on the earth thorn. What happens next? Boom. The earth thorns were torn to pieces and turned into fire cones to kill the flyer in the air. The opponent was caught off guard and instantly hit back. The earth thorn directly exploded, and the impact of the explosion and the invasion of the piercing fire severely injured Shuttlecock Flower. The little girl is so messy. Can she still use it like this? No one could have imagined that this little elephant could kick a thorn so high that its head was so high. Their love was born from playing football. Shuttlecock Flower was mercilessly burned by the piercing fire, but she struggled and used all her strength to stand up. The piercing fire was painful, but he didn't want to lose. Shuttlecock Flower, roaring angrily, his standing body showed his determination. The little girl's eyes were moved, and she said in tears, "I will never let you down. Let's work together to defeat that bad guy." Who is the bad guy? Please be reasonable. Really? The super combo skill was activated, and Shuttlecock's eyes became very serious. Hypnotic powder, poison powder, and paralysis powder are thrown out in order and fill the void. 3 gases of different colors and characteristics flow in the void, which from a distance looks very evil. The finishing touch is a touch of fairy style. The wind and waves swept over, and all the powder mixed together, and then quickly rushed towards the little elephant. My scalp feels numb just looking at it, and it is not easy to disturb the 3 powders. Don't be afraid, just take them away with a stream of flames. All the flames began to gather together a little, continuing to increase, and the fire element became more and more dense. Improve, improve, improve. Dense, dense, and denser. The terrifying flames gathered together, and their lethality was extremely terrifying. In the final blow, the moves of both Pokémon collided. Boom. A jet of flames the size of a head shot out, as powerful as a broken bamboo, and went straight in. Wherever it passed, lava rolled and burned to black. The temperature continued to rise, and everyone felt the heat, and didn't want to get close. Smoke and dust rose, and various dusts filled the air. Unfortunately, the little elephant was injured. The effect of the union of the 3 dusts was so terrifying that the little elephant's physical strength almost dropped to 0, and he could barely stand. After the dust dissipated, both Pokémon were standing, looking at both of them in a bad state, and it was up to them to see who would fall first. You must hold on. This is the voice of the trainers on both sides. As long as they support the opponent until it falls, they will win. Liu Xin was a little nervous. After all, the little elephant was swaying and seemed to be about to fall at any moment. On the other hand, Shuttlecock Flower was in a worse condition. It was still being burned by the piercing fire and was extremely uncomfortable. You could see that its health and vitality were constantly decreasing, and it would soon fall. The referee couldn't look away, not daring to miss any details. The victory or defeat was decided at this moment. Hatsukura began to mutter silently, "Win, win. The little elephant can persevere, no problem, absolutely no problem." Boom. It was all over, and it took a full 3 minutes for the 2 teams to decide the winner. The referee raised his right hand excitedly and shouted, "Congratulations to the blue team, Liu Xin's mutant little elephant won." After hearing the result, the little elephant gave a weak cry and fell down in satisfaction. Thank you for supporting me for so long. Shuttlecock took back the mutated little elephant and watched the piercing fire disappear, feeling the same admiration in his heart. For Pokémon, perseverance is very important. The little girl was very sad. She looked at Liu Xin and shouted, I remember you. Liu Xin, right? If you offend me, you will realize your mistake and wait for me. The threat didn't seem like a joke. Liu Xin didn't care. She waved her hand and said, as long as you take care of the little brat, it's time to collect the loot. I thought this headband was very suitable for you. Come and try it on. Anyway, it's worth buying. Yes, Chucho and AI said helplessly, if you don't say the last sentence, I'm still very touched. Do you think it's suitable? She lifted Liu up and put the hair bow on him. Xin stood where she was and said dumbly, it's so beautiful. Chapter 53, Departure, in Danger. How much Liu has erased Hatsukura AI's appearance can only be known by comparison. At that time, Hatsukura AI was so beautiful, with fair and tender skin and slightly red cheeks. The most important thing is her eyes, which are so clear and translucent, that I feel sorry for them. It was the first time I opened Liu to meet people. I was very shy. Hatsukura AI's shy look is an advantage, making her exceptionally charming. Before Liu Xin could speak, there were comments from all around. Wearing our school uniform, since when does our school have such a beauty? She is so cute. May I ask for her contact information? She feels so pure and simple, so pretty. Liu Xin looked at Chucho and AI, who held her head high and proud, and smiled bitterly in her heart. It's really easy to dismiss a shallow guy. But it's really different if you have good capital. It won't be long before Liu Xin is found. Itagiro and Moriaxiang trotted over and complained, why did you disappear while walking? He was really worried about us, and it was hard to find us. Fortunately, we heard about the appearance of a mutated baby elephant, so we did. We will catch you by following the clues. The mutated little elephant is really useful. Before the two of them could catch their breath, they saw the proud Hatsukura AI on the other side and wondered, who is it? It's so cute and beautiful to be talked to at such a close distance, making Hatsukura AI shy and fearful. The character emerged. He immediately hid behind Liu Xin, afraid to look at the two of them. She is very beautiful when she is shy at this moment, and her little eyes are even more intoxicating. Before Daisy left, he pondered for a moment, are you Hatsukura AI? Hatsukura AI poked her head out, thought for a moment, and said, are you Daisy-san? They know each other, and once they understand, they are really classmates. Zenar said directly, I transformed into a beautiful woman. I almost didn't recognize her. Why do you suddenly think of this? Do you still know Zhang Fan sitting next to Liu Xin in the crowd, as if he didn't want to live any more contact? She pondered for a long time, and then said, we just met recently, but we are already good friends. He recommended me to buy this hair tie. The most important thing is that he took it off for the first time. When he said this, his face changed. Ruddy and extremely shy. It makes people think a lot. Daisy smiled meaningfully. I didn't expect that at such a young age, but so brave. I would dare to attack the girls in our school. I can't say that you are such a guy. It's not easy. He grabbed Liu Xin directly and roared, really? You actually took someone off for the first time. Isn't this a small thing for you? What Qin Shao said indignantly, watching the pot while eating. You. It's so enviable. Where did I lose? Jealousy makes people cry. Anyway, Itohei is very bitter already. A lemon. Moriaxiang directly took Zenai's hand, grabbed Liu Xin, and said coldly, you'd better explain it to me. What's going on? How dare you do such a thing? Facing the innocent and pitiful Hatsukura, AI sighed and said, Beauty, I won't trick you like this. Can we talk properly and explain to you? First of all, you must understand that this is the first time. There was a half-hour explanation, which also contains various questions and details. Phew, not only Liu Xin, but Moriaxiang and the others also let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately I didn't do that kind of thing. Moriaxiang patted her chest and was a little excited. Chacha and AI didn't know that she had caused Liu Xin a lot of trouble, so she just quietly ate. Shania didn't show any scruples and revealed the reward for their successful mission. Liu Xin's trio didn't care, they just asked for a little money and let him pass. Now it's time for us to fulfill our promise and take you to Dryleaf City. Once again, he set out on the road of adventure. At the entrance at the Pokémon Academy, Hatsukura AI was very hesitant. Shania led the team, while as he stayed in the academy. He looked at Hatsukura AI next to him and said with a smile, "Aren't you going to catch up? I'll regret it later." Hatsukura AI's eyes trembled and he covered his head. He held his chest and said, but I can't just leave the academy casually. And a girl who is as afraid of outsiders as I am is simply a trouble and a burden to him, right?" Dazzy waved his hand and said, "Don't ask me. After all, I'm not Liu Xin. I can't give you an answer. If you really care, how do you want to follow her?" When Chacha and AI was hesitating, a mature and sexy woman stepped forward and said, "Our university recently encourages students to go out, so don't worry about school. Just do whatever you want." After being told this, Hatsukura AI immediately followed up and chased after Liu Xin's team. Dazzy said helplessly, "Sister, are you sure you're okay? Hey, who dares to say anything about the person I want to protect? The kid is not simple. Let Zio AI go. You can also take a look." Liu Xin and the others followed Zenia, and he led the way. There is a quick passage that can quickly reach Kuai City. This passage is only known to the students of our college. It is very secret. It's really secluded. If someone hadn't brought it with me, I wouldn't have been able to find it. Moriang Xiang sat on the fiery horse and looked at the surrounding scenery, which was much quieter. However, this is just the silence before the storm. Suddenly, the boys had a bad feeling at the same time. They stopped in unison and looked around cautiously. "I have a very bad feeling. Is there anyone here?" Shania looked around carefully and said calmly, "Maybe it's someone from the academy who is doing the task, but the atmosphere is not very good." Moriang Xiang comforted him. "Yes, Eren. Aren't you too nervous? In fact, there is nothing." As soon as he finished speaking, Liu Xin immediately hugged Moriang Xiang and fell off the horse. A vitality bullet passed by, completely aimed at Moriang Xiang. Someone appeared and directly attacked Moriang Xiang. Moriang Xiang realized later, hugged Liu Xin tightly and said, "Who is it?" A familiar voice came out, "Liu Xin, I told you that, if you offend me, don't expect anything good. We are going to Kuai City anyway, how about we take you to the hospital there?" The little girl at that time, she actually came to cause trouble and had a huge headache. The most important thing is that there are more people on the other side than on ours. Zena looked ugly and said coldly, "When did the #1 freshman of our university come to do odd jobs?" The man with a completely different temperament from the others said disdainfully, "I can't help it. Who told me to love my sister so much? So I will never forgive anyone who dares to make my sister suffer." A level 30 fang-bearing land shark slowly walked out and stood beside him, full of fighting spirit. Chapter 54, The Strange Fanged Land Shark. This land shark with fangs is still different from Liu Xin's. The skin surface is less purple. Obviously, the land shark with fangs is rare and noble. Damn, it's this guy's famous Pokemon, the Fang Shark. Kyandeo Daki is really a sister-in-law. It's obvious that his sister Kyandeo Hyde is not worthy of being loved. Shania spoke directly, not caring about the situation at all. Is worthy of being a straight man of steel. Liu Xin covered his face. He also knew the two brothers and sisters. As for the guys around him, it didn't matter if he didn't know them. After all, it was not important. Leave the Thousand Island tree to me to solve the problem. I'll let you look. It should be fine, right? Liu Xin focused on the strongest, the Thousand Island tree with a level 28 land shark fang. The companions around him nodded, indicating that there was no problem. After such a long period of training, it is absolutely impossible for the strength to have not changed. Shania calmly said, "The characteristics of your Fang Shark are very strange. It is different from ordinary Pokémon. You must be careful. We will quickly settle the battlefield here and then come to your aid. He said coldly. I didn't look for you. Instead, I brought it to your door. It saves you a lot of trouble. Show me your Pokémon and let me see how strong it is. Come out, Super Fang Shark. Fanged Land Shark. The moment they came out, the two looked at each other, and strong sparks burst out. Ultra Series Pokémon are aliens in the eyes of their ordinary Pokémon. Naturally, they are grumpy, gnashing their claws, and full of fighting spirit. Super Fanged Land Shark, as an instinctive militant, no matter who you are, just one word, Gan. Kyandeoshu's eyes narrowed, and he recognized it as a Super Series Pokémon. The corners of his mouth raised and he said, I almost thought it was an ordinary sharp-toothed land shark. That's so boring. Just let your so-called Super Series see the power of my sharp-toothed land shark Liu. Xin still didn't believe how powerful the other party could be. During this period of leveling up, Super Fang Shark was already level 25. Although there was a difference of 3 levels, its attributes were almost the same as its opponent. If you can't see the characteristics, then they are not simple and ordinary characteristics. At the same time, the order was given, and the virtual dragon claws covered the wings, shining brightly, cutting through the silence in front of them. Boom. The dragon claws collided, the source energy from the collision continued to spread, and the energy trembled in all directions. Collect, defend, fight back and forth, attract enemies, show no mercy. The purple aurora is activated, and the originally weak dragon claws instantly shine, shattering the opponent's dragon claws with one claw, bringing a terrifying deterrent effect. Strangely, Kyandeoshu lightly clapped his hands without panicking. Liu Xin didn't care and shouted, finish it. Something strange happened. The dragon claw's ability completely disappeared the moment it touched the land shark, and it turned back into its original small claw. It hit the air, and was dodged by the opponent. What's going on? The ability attack suddenly disappears. Is it the opponent's characteristic? Kyandeoshu sneered, this is my characteristic. As for what it is, use your defeat to explore it. Dragon's Breath. It even contains a bit of the power of the purple aurora. Super Fang Shark and Liu Xin were both shocked. The other party was obviously just an ordinary Fang Shark, so why did it have super energy? Liu Xin quickly guessed what the other party's characteristics were, that is, absorption and transformation. Absorbing the opponent's skill attack, and then transforming it for use. It's like a perpetual motion machine, constantly looping. Difficult. This is very difficult. It seems that being the #1 freshman in the Pokémon Academy is no joke. The strength is there. But no matter what, you can't back down. Even if the opponent can absorb it, there is a limit. Let me see how much you can absorb. Reciprocate with color. Dragon Breath. Super Fangtooth Land Shark made the same movements, containing the dragon's power and absorbing the airwaves. Soon, Dragon Breath condensed in their mouths. The dragon breaths of both sides have the blessing of the purple aurora, but the authentic one is the authentic after all, and has more blessings. In an instant, the two little dragons that were shot collided with each other, biting and fighting each other. The shock wave that came out from inside turned into a wave, and moved in all directions. Liu Xin and Kyandeoshu took a few steps back, but Kyandeoshu still had a smile on his face, and was very confident. It is clear that the two are competing with each other, but he does not have the upper hand, but he is still so confident. Something was wrong, very wrong. Suddenly, the opponent's dragon breath suddenly strengthened, and he was also blessed by a purple aurora. Why is this happening? Blinded again, isn't it absorption and transformation? Why can't the opponent actually use purple aurora without any pause or weakening? When Liu Xin regained consciousness, he felt a little late. The dragon breath directly swallowed him up and hit the super fanged land shark hard. It rolled for several meters before barely stopping, with many wounds on its body. Liu Xin felt uneasy when he saw it and felt resentment towards the fanged land shark in front of him. Super fanged land shark stood up with difficulty. He was determined and had good qualities, so he wouldn't be killed instantly. However, Kyandeoshu was a little surprised. He didn't fall. Normal opponents have long been unable to fight. But when you fight against yourself, you have no chance of winning. Xin grabbed him. Complete copy. Copy 100% of the opponent's characteristics. How many characteristics can be copied is still unknown. Therefore, when the two of them fight, he can copy Super Fang Shark's purple aurora at will. The chances of winning are getting smaller and smaller. The proudest characteristics are copied, the attributes are close, and they are caught off guard. Caught in a difficult situation, Liu Xin and Chao Fang Lusher were very embarrassed. Deal damage no matter what. The bleeding effect was activated, and the originally ordinary claws appeared light red, exuding the smell of blood. The fanged land shark and the Thousand Island Tree became a little wary of the sudden reddish claws. Finish him off, don't give him a chance. Dragon Claw. Both sides use the Dragon Claw again, but this time the Super Fang Shark would no longer hesitate or be confused, and would simply attack at all costs. The fanged land shark can indeed use the purple aurora attribute at will. Not only that, it must have other attributes. For example, the characteristic of absorbing attacks at the beginning. The fanged land shark in front of you is very strong. Getting closer, before the other party could react, Super Fang Shark immediately used Heavy Stomp. Both feet stomped heavily on the ground, and cracks instantly appeared, causing the fanged land shark's body to move, and its attack to twist. Fanged land shark. The Super Fanged land shark succeeded. With an upward punch, blood marks directly touched the opponent's body. After successfully causing bleeding, you can see that the sharp-toothed land shark's injured area is constantly glowing red, and its physical strength is rapidly depleting. The higher the special attack, the stronger the bleeding effect. Therefore, the sharp-toothed land shark cried out in discomfort at this moment. Kyandeoshu's eyes turned serious, and he said calmly, I thought you were a guy who could be easily dealt with, but that's not the case. I really can't deal with you if I don't use my full strength. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55, The Sinister Thousand Island Tree. The bleeding effect was truly terrifying. In just a few dozen seconds, the fang-toothed land shark was already panting, showing that its physical strength had greatly decreased. Kyandeoshu quickly reacted and caught it, and calmly said, does it count as a special attack? It can't be dispelled yet, and your fang shark is not easy. You have nothing. Opportunity. Chao Fang Lusher and Liu Xin became extremely vigilant due to the incredible aura fluctuations coming from each other's bodies. Second characteristic. A perfect imitation is terrifying. How could there be such a terrible second characteristic? Strange, so strange. He couldn't care that much since he still had Pokémon on hand, so he wouldn't be completely defeated. Also, I looked at the battle situation around me. It was all red and very ugly. My side was completely suppressed. What happened? Although Itaguro's blessed fire horse is slowly falling into a disadvantage, the most critical point is that the opponent's characteristics are very strange. Are there perfect copies? The strange feeling is getting stronger and stronger, but Liu Xin can't tell where it is. Shania had already changed 3 Pokémon, and his expression was very ugly. It's impossible. You guys are normally not this strong. What's going on? There's something wrong with you. Something very wrong. Hyde Shishima said indifferently. I have forgotten the Academy's school motto. Is it true? The strong are respected. In the final analysis, you are too weak and vulnerable. Liu Xin shook his head and said to himself, this guy's obviously not that powerful when fighting against me and these Pokémon thoughts. Here, he immediately took out the bonding glasses given to him by his uncle, and after putting them on, he discovered many surprising things. There is no bond at all between these Pokémon and their trainers. To be clear, as long as you successfully capture a Pokémon, no matter how small, a red line of bond will be established, but they don't have any. He shouted, Zenia, what happened to them? Are these Pokémon really this? Zenia immediately took his glasses and shook his head. Impossible. This is impossible. These Pokémon are mine. I have seen them use them. Why is there no bond? Why is it like this? This mentality lingered in their minds, and their expressions were ugly. If you use conventional means, you might not be an opponent at all, so don't act on martial ethics. Come out all of you. Ziohei, the two of us force a breakthrough. Itohei quickly walked over and also clearly understood that if he continued to fight, he would definitely lose. It's not that they are not strong, but their opponents are too unpredictable and their characteristics are more bizarre than before, like insects. Shania and Ankamori stood behind them, alert to their surroundings. Kayande Odashi said coldly, if you bully my sister, you must pay the price. Fang-toothed land shark, I gave you enough time to prepare, kill them now. His physical strength was high. Although he was still falling, he didn't care at all and roared angrily. His eyes turned blood red and many parts of his body enlarged, dyed light black, and became more lethal. The fanged land shark felt an unprecedented threat and its fighting spirit dropped for the first time. The Karakuras around them were also affected and their fighting spirit dropped crazily. You must know that the strength of the Pokémon Liu Xin is that its fighting spirit is constantly increasing, but now it has actually decreased its fighting spirit. It was weakened. Morianka's Pokémon was unable to fight back and fell into a state of fear. What did you do to your Pokémon? This is definitely not normal training. What happened? Liu Xin shouted angrily. He could see that the sharp-toothed land shark's value instantly skyrocketed, replaced by the opponent's life. Most of it instantly dropped. The physical strength value represents the Pokémon's mobility and combat ability, and the health value is the Pokémon's foundation. If its HP reaches 0, the Pokémon will die. Therefore, actions that harm a Pokémon's health are not allowed, or possible under any circumstances. But the Thousand Island tree in front of me is finished, and consuming a third of it in one go is entirely the result of overdrawing life in exchange for strength. What kind of malpractice is this? Liu Xin was very angry and roared, Thousand Island tree, what do you mean? Overdrawing your Pokémon's health? Aren't you a Pokémon trainer who despises life so much? You're still a human being? Kayande Oshu said coldly, I only know that strength is the foundation of everything. Also, this Pokémon is gone now and can be replaced by a new one. As the saying goes, if the old one doesn't leave, the one Pokémon means nothing. After hearing this, the Fang Shark's expression didn't change at all. He was almost like a wooden man, still burning his health hateful. Liu Xin gritted his teeth. What a bastard. His eyes were on fire and he wanted to go up and kill the Thousand Island tree. Shania patted Liu Xin, shook his head, and said, calm down, I'll reply to the academy later. Now we have to get out alive. If we fall into their hands, we will either die or suffer endless torture. Itaguro clenched his fists and said, I think the same as you, but the overall situation is more important. Let's escape. Liu Xin gritted his teeth and said with hatred in his eyes, wait for me. Stronger. I will definitely come back and defeat you. You are not a Pokémon trainer at all. You are not worthy. His harsh words angered Kayande Oshu. Self-esteem and pride did not let themselves be trampled on and insulted, and said with murderous intent, then, none of you can leave today. Use your body to experience the power of sacrificing your life. Shark. He roared loudly and traveled very fast, covering hundreds of meters. The dragon claws condensed, silver light flashed, and the dragon's power spread out. It is very good at suppressing the fighting will of many Pokémon, and there are not many people who can cope with it. Big Rock Snake, get tough. The Big Rock Snake exerted all its strength, covering its entire body with rocks, and took the lead in strengthening its defenses to resist the attack. Boom. There was a loud noise, and the sharpness of the dragon's claws was beyond imagination. The defense of the Big Rock Snake was like paper, and it was cut open in an instant. Boomerang. Fortunately, with good coordination, Karakali used his bone club to knock the opponent down, saving the large rock snake from being attacked. If that claw falls, the consequences will be disastrous. Bad AD, use S/. Zenire ordered his Bad AD to seize the opportunity, compress the air sword, and attack hard, sharply, and quickly. Little trick. Slash. The sharp-toothed land shark's reaction speed was terrifyingly fast. It turned to the side and slashed, countering perfectly. Using both feet, it was in front of Badadai in an instant. Not good. Too close. The slash could fall at any time. Psychic power. The transparent speed of light covered battered his body, and he was immediately swept away. Bang! A sharp blade was slashed on the ground, and the aura emanating from it made people's hearts palpitate. If the metal monster had not taken Bad AD away in time, this attack would have been fatal. Chapter 56. Defeated. Crazy Gyarados. They cooperated well with each other, but this also completely enraged the fanged land shark. It slowly turned around, furious, its scalded eyes filled with killing intent. You're good at jumping, right? Everyone take action and watch them escape. Hyde Shishima and others joined the battlefield one after another, which completely made things worse. Liu Xin and the others' faces became more and more ugly. Open the system mall and see if there is anything available for you. Absolute defense is useless this time. The only last resort is to leave here. I have accumulated a lot during this time, at least 700 points, which should be enough to buy good things. The system mall opens. Liu Xin went straight to the point. Is there anything that can alleviate the current situation? I need to defeat them or escape. Hurry up. After a few seconds of silence, the system gave two things. Both are cards, but they represent two outcomes. The first type, the evolution experience card, can be released to Pokémon at the same time, allowing them to evolve into their final form for 1 minute. After use, the Pokeball is forced to be withdrawn, and the price is 1500 points. The second type, a temporary attack card, can be applied to all ground-type Pokémon at the same time, simply strengthening all the values of the ground-type Pokémon, lasts for 3 minutes, and sells for 500 points. If you want to use the first method, let alone fight, just kill everyone in front of you instantly. The problem is that you don't have any points available, so you can only retreat until this time, and choose the second option. Although I don't know what the improvement will be, I just buy it directly. Buy it decisively, and the light will begin to shine on all of Liu Xin's Pokémon. Unfortunately, among all the Pokémon, Liu Xin is the only one with the ground attribute. What's going on? Liu Xin, why are all your Pokémon shining gold? Are they going to evolve? The enemy was also worried when he saw it, and Kyandeo Dashu immediately gave an order. Quickly fight. Dragon the claws gathered together, and the speed was very fast. Chideo Hyde and the others around him were not slow at all, surrounding them from all sides, making it impossible for them to escape. Itaguro shouted, Ninetales, Fire Horse, use Raging Flame attack. Hit them. Ankamori, who was unable to fight behind him, ordered the crab, use props to heal the injured Pokémon. There was nothing wrong with giving the healing items obtained in the lighthouse to Mori Yanxiang. Bite. A crisp sound rang out, and such a sharp dragon claw was blocked. The one who took action was a super sharp-toothed land shark. It used the dragon claws without hesitation, but it was much stronger than before, comparable to the sharp-toothed land shark in front of it. Kyandeo looked at him and laughed loudly. You said that I'm not worthy of being a trainer, and now you don't need to use health-consuming tactics to fight against me. People feel sick. Zena aside, it's not worth it. The worst thing we can do is run away. Why use this method? Oh, I can't say anything. But Liu Xin knew very well that this was the effect of the temporary attack card, which began to increase the value of ground-type Pokémon in an all-round way, especially in terms of attack. So, let's change the situation now. The super fanged land shark's dragon claw once again competed with the dragon claw in front of him, and it had a vague suppressing effect. Cause a wound. Cause a wound. The current super fanged land shark has this idea in mind. As long as it causes damage to the opponent, the bleeding effect must be triggered. Little elephant, use the earth spikes to harass that guy. The earth spikes quickly appeared, faster and more suddenly, taking the fanged land shark by surprise. What followed was a crazy attack. As long as there was a slight flaw, it would be defeated. The cuts continued, and blood marks fell on the fanged shark's body one after another, and the bleeding effect was unleashed crazily. His physical strength was exhausted in just 10 seconds, and he fell softly to the ground. Quick and precise. The cooperation between Liu Xin's Pokémon is not something ordinary trainers can achieve. The fallen shark tooth can't even continue to consume its HP, so it can only obediently return to the Pokéball. And you guys, retreat all the way. The bone club in Caracala's hand was like a divine power, hitting a child in one blow, causing extraordinary damage. As for the large rock snake, it is even more unscrupulous, and it swerves in all directions relying on its huge size. Not many Pokémon can withstand it. In just a minute, the situation began to reverse. Itagiro dissuaded him. Liu Xin, hurry up and retrieve your Pokémon. After all, they are still overdrawing their HP, right? If you continue, they might die. Seeing his anxious look, Liu Xin felt warm his heart, patted him on the shoulder and said, don't worry, I won't be as crazy as them. This is just a backup attack of mine, to temporarily strengthen them. There is a time limit. Everyone now. Kyandeo Dashu caressed the Pokeball in his hand, and said in surprise, it can actually defeat my fanged land shark, and it can also lead us to a desperate situation without being pricked by a needle. It's worth leaving it. He came out to play with you. Kyandeo Wang looked a little scared and said, brother, is it necessary? It's not safe for us to release that guy, Kyandeo Dashu said indifferently. Just go out and give them a headache. Let's go. We don't want that Pokémon anymore. Scum. You can even say this, completely treating Pokémon as props and throwing them into the trash can after using them. Liu Xin shouted, stay here, see if I don't beat you to death. You really aren't human. You treating your Pokémon like this didn't matter to him and just threw out a Poké Ball calmly said, blessed. If you can survive in front of this guy, that would be a great blessing. A fairy ball was thrown out, and the terrifying figure quickly intercepted it in front of everyone. Liu Xin could only watch them leave, counting the time and the last minute and a half of strengthening. After they calmed down, the Pokémon in front of them was a Gyarados, and it was as large as a giant rock snake, reaching 8 meters. The 8-meter-long Gyarados is already extremely terrifying among its family members, and its ferocious expression combined with its size is terrifying. Gyarados. The roar resounded throughout the forest, and was surprisingly intimidating. Its eyes turned blood red at this moment, and its health was burning crazily, like a time bomb. In this state, it has gone completely mad, intending to destroy everything it sees. Shania shouted, run. This Gyarados has gone crazy. They attack indiscriminately. These guys are also crazy. Liu Xin looked at the Gyarados attacking regardless of the pain, and gritted his teeth. You go first and find rescue. I will try my best to stop this monster. Hurry up. Itohei did not take a step back, but instead stepped forward and said, you were the one who did this kind of thing last time, and I won't do it this time. I will leave you alone. Let's fight this monster together, and you two go find rescue. Chapter 57 Crisis, A State of Death. Itaguro stood beside Liu Xin without hesitation, with an awe-inspiring righteousness. Liu Xin's heart was moved, but he couldn't eat as much as he was moved. The gap in strength between the two sides is clear at a glance. Except for the temporarily strengthened Liu Xin who can still resist, the others are given away and have no chance. He had already made a plan in his heart. As long as his teammates were gone, he would rely on strengthening to delay their escape and ensure his own safety. Normal battles are not included in the protection scope of the Pokémon Academy, but this situation is different. A Berserk Gyarados can cause a lot of trouble around it, making it a troublesome Pokémon. So, the Pokémon Academy had to take measures to suppress and deal with it. Because of this, Liu Xin asked everyone to seek reinforcement. Last time you sacrificed your life to save us, this time I will not give you up. Let's fight side by side. Hearing Itohei say this again, Liu Xin sighed. Sometimes, unnecessary sacrifices are meaningless. I can delay and escape. How about you trust me? Zenar stepped forward and whispered, is there still a chance to escape in this situation? I don't care if you are joking. How sure are you? Liu, the near-conservative viewpoint gives us 70% certainty, so we can't be too sure. Unexpectedly, as soon as these words came out, the style of the painting suddenly changed. Itaguro rode his horse, asked the metal monster to take the two of them away, and waved. If you say so, I'm relieved. I'll leave the rest of the matter to you, and we will find reinforcement for you immediately. Liu Xin, let's go. The encouraging voice gradually faded away, decisively disappearing from his eyes. The fight they had just fought side by side failed. Itaguro was really decisive in selling people, without hesitation for a moment. Give me back my feelings and tears. Liu Xin felt that he had been deeply deceived, and that the evil Itohei would come to settle accounts with him later. The most critical guy at the moment is the crazy Gyarados in front of him. He was destroying everything around him wantonly, venting his anger and pain, and his wailing couldn't stop. The rapid depletion of health turns into a burst of negative energy, which relieves that pain with destruction. Tidal wave. Gyarados' entire body is wrapped in water molecules, and water droplets can seep in from everywhere, quickly mixing together, and turning into a terrifying vortex that wraps around itself. But this is not a move that attacks itself, but a super powerful water type special attack aimed at the enemy. A vortex over 8 meters high condensed, and was released unconditionally in his roar. The vortex swallowed dozens of meters in radius, and layers of wind and waves rose up, like a tsunami. Liu Xin looked embarrassed. Being inside was a laborious task. Wow. The sound of rushing water continued, and the whirlpool attacked his Pokémon mercilessly and without stopping. Fortunately, the number bonus can barely resist it. Dragon Claw plus Boomerang. The Tico operated to create a large opening, and then quickly rushed out. The fanged land shark quickly ran through the quicksand hell, directly trapping Gyarados' torso with wet sand. Caracalla did not stop, and waved the stick in his hand, making a whistling sound. Strike with Bone Stick. The bone stick in his hand was completely covered with clods of earth, and his power was fully injected into it, continuously attacking. Bang! A huge sound was made, and the bone rod hit Gyarados' torso hard, and the effect was very obvious. There was no way to stop. It was a continuous hammering of the bone rod. It is getting louder and louder, and the brilliance is becoming more and more dazzling. Boom, boom, boom. Like beating a drum, they madly hit Gyarados' body one after another. Gyarados. A roar was heard, a roar of pain and anger. It can be seen that Caracalla's attack is very effective. Liu Xin would not waste the time for strengthening, and quickly connected with Dragon Claw. Blood marks are deeply engraved on Gyarados, and the bleeding effect is activated. Dragon Breath. A dense and powerful attack surged out, hitting the opponent's head hard, and causing a brief stun. Little Elephant. Use Raging Flame Strike. Add a layer of piercing fire to it. Big Rock Snake. Use Rockfall. Crush it mercilessly. After seizing the two Pokémon that stopped attacking, their bodies were enveloped. Flames. The little elephant is very fast, riding the wind and waves, and the approaching water vapor instantly evaporates and dissipates. The little elephant's charge is like a small sun, hot and dazzling. Boom. After this powerful impact, Gyarados was knocked back, and its body began to be devoured by a scorching fire. The area that was hit was even more charred, and its physical strength greatly decreased. As it retreated, huge blocks of rock began to fall, like shooting stars. Boom, boom, boom. A clear crash was heard, and Ruthless suppressed Gyarados, and pinned it to the ground. Give it one last kick. Sweeping through the air, the tail of the large rock snake rose into the sky and struck it hard. A tail came solidly from the front. This attack was extremely terrifying. The ground seemed to be shattered like a spider web, and there was a lot of movement. Smoke and dust filled the air. The 4 ground-type Pokémon became normal, and the effects of the temporary attack cards disappeared. It should be fixed, right? Liu Xin had this thought in mind. After all, the attack just now was perfect, and did not give the opponent the slightest chance. The piercing fire was still burning in the ruins, and through the smoke and dust, only the flickering of the flame could be seen. The wind blew, and a punch pierced through the smoke and dust, breaking the brief silence. Water Tail. The tail wrapped in water mixed with the aura of stormy waves attacked at a very fast speed, leaving no chance for reaction. Break. There was an extremely loud and crisp noise. The huge rock snake was the largest target, and was mercilessly struck. It was slapped several meters away and instantly knocked unconscious. Big Rock Snake. Liu Xin roared in distress. He quickly retrieved the big rock snake, and looked at Gyarados, that was passing through the smoke. Even though he was covered in wounds, he still had a strong fighting spirit, and the anger in his body could not be suppressed. Kara. Caracalla was the first to feel unhappy as he watched his companions being attacked. He waved his bone club and quickly stepped forward, bringing the other two boys with him. Climbing waterfalls. His entire body was covered in flowing water, transforming into a rotating column of water. Immediately, he sprang to life and attacked the 3 Pokémon that came forward. At the same time, they used their strongest attacks, but now they have no blessings and are very weak and powerless against Gyarados. When an egg hits a rock, you overestimate your capabilities. The ground was shattered, water flowed freely, and 3 severely injured Pokémon lay around in the water vapor. Caracalla, Little Elephant, and Fanged Land Shark were instantly killed, without showing any resistance at all. No matter how strong their fighting spirit was, their physical strength disappeared in an instant, making it impossible for them to fight back. Liu Xin immediately put them away, gritted his teeth, and said, "Damn it, this guy is so perverted, run away. Get on the waterfall." Without any hesitation, Gyarados transformed into a water pillar and rushed straight towards Liu Xin without any detour. There's nowhere to escape. Damn it. Liu Xin closed his eyes and fell into a situation of certain death. Chapter 58, Escape, the Shameless Tree. In a state of mortality, there is no chance of survival. The tail was a little over a meter thick and wide, completely covering Liu Xin's entire body. Trying to avoid it was just a foolish thing to do. He screamed. A subtle force came, completely hitting the Gyarados, causing it to be instantly drawn in. Superpower attack. Liu Xin was a little confused. Are you saying that Itto's black belt reinforcement have returned? That's impossible. It takes 5 minutes at most to get here from the academy. There was someone else, and it was a Pokémon with a superpower attribute. Liu Xin, this way, quickly run away. A subtle and familiar voice reached Liu Xin's ears, pulling him back from the brink of life and death. Looking sideways, I saw that it was Hatsukura AI. Why is she here? I didn't ask too many questions. After all, it was still a dangerous situation. If I wasn't careful, it might involve Hatsukura AI. The two of them quickly ran away, and Liu Xin couldn't help but ask, are the Pokémon over there okay? Hatsukura AI said confidently, I've discussed it with them before, and they will escape soon, so just wait for the appointment. Run after 3 or 4 minutes, she stopped when she saw Gyarados walking away. At this moment, Liu Xin raised her doubts, why are you here? Chuchun AI was silent for a moment, and said firmly, I want to go with you, and take risks with you, because I feel something unprecedented from you, like never before. Looking at the loose hairband and messy hair, Liu Xin couldn't help but laugh and walked over, gently helping her smooth it out with her hands. But such a small movement made Chuchun AI's face turn red and her heart beat wildly and said, this is how it feels. So, I want to go on tour with you, is it okay? They were full of anticipation. The previous low self-esteem and lack of confidence disappeared. Liu Xin rubbed her hair and sighed, did you also see the scene just now? I don't know why, but it seems that this is my normal state. It will be very dangerous, very dangerous. Surprisingly, are you still sure? Seeing the opportunity, Chuchun AI quickly nodded and said, of course, it's interesting and exciting, isn't it? Liu Xin had nothing to say and finally agreed. Chuchun AI happily took Liu Xin's hand and smiled sweetly. They completely forgot that they were running away and didn't wake up until the Pokémon returned. Moon Eevee came with Lirulus by her side. Both of them had injuries on their bodies. It was unrealistic to escape from Gyarados intact. It seems that the screams and various superpower attacks just now were all released by Lalulasi in front of him. Lararus has a white body, and its body and legs give it the appearance of wearing clothes that are too long. Its green hair looked like a bowl-shaped hood, and was too long to cover most of Lalulasi's face. Its hair is divided by 2 flat red horns inserted in the middle, a larger one towards the front and a smaller one towards the back. Lalula's eyes are usually covered by its bowl, but when viewed from below, it has a pair of red eyes similar to those of its evolved form. A very cute and beautiful Pokémon. Liu Xin gently leaned forward and thanked him. Thank you and your master for helping me, otherwise I would have ended badly. What a good boy. With different attributes, Kemon made Liu Xin very happy and excited. Boom. There was a loud noise and Gyarados was subdued in just a few seconds. Reinforcement arrive. When the Pokémon Academy teacher saw the crazy Gyarados, he immediately defeated and suppressed it. The teacher took a deep breath and said, "Fortunately, this Gyarados has many wounds. Otherwise it would have caused greater damage. What exactly is going on? Shania, please explain the cause and effect." Hearing, the teacher thoughtfully said, "I know, we will deal with this matter. First we have to find Liu Xin and Kyandeoshu." Itagiro and Moriaxiang were anxious and did not find Liu Xin again. There was nothing but the trampled attack ground in front of me. Was he killed? But if he was really killed, there would have to be a body left, right? Dazzy and Anping said, "Liu Xin will be fine. It should be easy to escape with his strength. It is not difficult to see signs that Gyarados has chased something. Look at the road." After calming down, the two men began to look for Liu through the new forest. The road between enemies is narrow. Liu Xin and the others did not take a few steps before they encountered Kyandeoshu and the others who were plotting. He suddenly also remembered that they actually escaped from this direction at that time. Kyandeoshu and the others also found Liu Xin and Hatsukura AI, with surprise in their eyes. "You are not dead. You were not crushed by Gyarados?" After being pointed out, Chacho and AI hid behind Liu Xin and said faintly, "This is not called stealing, it's called fair competition. You are not as good as others, so don't blame me." Kyandeoshu was unhappy and kicked. "Brother, look at them. Only my sister deserves to be like this. Take off the headband prudently, otherwise you won't blame me for being ruthless. Do you still have the ability to fight? As for you, I have other plans." Her eyes made him feel uncomfortable all over, and he instinctively stepped back. Liu Xin still had 200 points available, which was enough to restore 4 Pokémon. The system's spring water system can only be used once a month. There is no limit to the number of Pokémon, as long as you have enough points, but one Pokémon can only be used once. It just so happens that this month is completely useless. After all, it's been almost 2 months since we last played against the Rockets for the first time. Hatsukura I pushed Liu Xin. "Do you want to lend you my Pokémon to fight? After all, the battle just now caused your Pokémon to be seriously injured and unable to continue fighting." Kyandeoshu said excitedly, "No more. Do you still want to defeat me?" "That kind of thing." The corner of Liu Xin's mouth raised and said, "Are you sure you want to challenge me? Do you really have no regrets?" Kyandeoshu waved his hand and said, "I'm a 5th level karate master. Come find me if you can." After hearing this, Liu Xin pressed restore without hesitation and sighed, "I have never heard such a cruel request in my life. Go and satisfy him, lest you say that I don't respect him." Chapter 59, The Ruthless Harasheo, tortured to extract confessions. Kirakura resurrected with full health and jumped out of the Pokémon ball full of energy. This left many people dumbfounded. Kyandeoshu shouted, "Didn't you say that I was knocked down?" It's not that he didn't dodge, it was simply that he didn't have time to dodge. He couldn't match Caracala's reaction speed and was knocked down with just one swing of the stick. After Caracala's successful sneak attack, I felt a sense of revenge and relief. It seems that Liu Xin's resentment for attacking him just now was vented here and showed itself in different forms. Kyandeoshu tremblingly asked, "What are you doing? How dare you do this to me, brother? We won't let you off lightly." Liu Xin said coldly, "Do you think I will be afraid of you? I see. How many pounds do you have?" The 4 Pokémon were released at the same time, full of fighting spirit. Although they can burn life points to fight, they have already consumed a lot in the previous battle, and the one that can really fight is probably the Thousand Island Tree. However, Kyandeoshu was instantly killed in a single blow and was knocked unconscious. Chideo Hyde and others were a little scared when they saw the huge rock snake. They didn't have much resistance, and they all fell down after holding on for 5 minutes. During this period, Hatsukura I helped out from time to time, and the results were quite good. Chideo Aang said aggrievedly, "You dare to touch us and try it? There are people behind us to support and help us. If you touch a finger of ours, I guarantee that you won't be able to eat or walk." It would be best if you didn't say this. Wake Liu Xin up. She walked up to Hide-Shishima and said in a cold voice, "What's going on with your Pokémon? Why are their characteristics basically the same and so weird? And where did you learn this method of burning health points? Speaking of which, Master, teaching me to fool. No normal person will be fooled by this. You better tell the truth. Otherwise Zio AI, give him a hard time. Let him know what a bad society is." Chuan AI was pushed forward and demanded to make a fierce and threatening gesture. But can Hatsukura AI do it? She is very afraid of people, and it is difficult to look at her, let alone scare her. I can definitely do it. I went out to take this step and grow up. Come on, I can do it, I thought to myself to cheer myself up. Then, Hatsukura AI's expressions and movements made Liu Xin laugh. She directly pulled her mouth with her hands and made a scary face with her eyes closed. Not only is it not scary, it makes people feel cute and funny. Kyandeo Wang couldn't help but laugh, and the boys behind him had infomaniac faces. So cute, so pretty. What a cute and flawless little girl. When Liu Xin heard what these boys said, he immediately pulling away. AI Hatsukura walked away, shook her head and said, "No, this is not how to scare people. Be fiercer, have richer expressions, and have a little cruel eyes. Do you understand?" Well, here it is. Adjust it again, it's almost the same. Sorry. Oh, that's good. Keep working hard. The two girls I met seemed to have no common sense besides being beautiful, right? The first time he met Morianka, he taught her how to catch Pokémon. This time, he taught Hatsukura AI how to threaten the assassin? What are you teaching these girls? In the end, Liu Xin personally took action. This is a poison fist. If you hit it with one punch, you will definitely be disfigured. Just like that, if you hit it with a fist, no matter whether it is poisonous or not, the ground will crack. Anyway, calculated, it can easily smash your face, and it is very simple to achieve the effect of disfigurement. Hide-Shishima, who pays special attention to his own appearance, is unfazed. No, I will never say that. If you have me, just smash it. If you dare to do this, who will the college favor? Behind him, the younger brother was very excited when he heard Kyandeo Wang say this, as expected of senior sister. What courage. If you have me, you will hit our senior sister on the head, and we will never say anything else. Word. I think elder sister would rather die than surrender. Just say a word. Don't mention it. Kyandeo Wang roared. If you can talk more, do you want to publish a book for yourself? Good boy, you actually lost your identity. If the university really pursues the case, it will definitely blame Liu Xin, who is not a student, while Chideo Hing will privately handle the matter internally and hastily settle the matter. But why is she so sure that she really won't succeed? Could it be that this secret is so important that I can't tell it even until death? Hatsukura AI suddenly picked up a small Makute box with a name engraved on it. Hide-Shishima. This is Hide-Shishima's Makute box. She didn't expect that starting to use a Makute box at such a young age would lead to immeasurable magic in the future. The moment Liu Xin took the Makute box, Kyandeo Wang's eyes fluctuated, his mouth opened slightly, and he became a little nervous. This is your Makute box, right? As long as you tell me what I want to know, I will give it back to you. No, I don't want it. I won't tell the secret no matter what. You are so tough, so nervous. If you haven't told it yet, don't blame yourself for being cruel. She gently opened the cosmetics box, and there were many cosmetics neatly placed inside, making Liu Xin confused about what they were. What is this? Zio AI, come here, do you want to try it? Chuan AI walked over and groped for it. She had never used cosmetics before, and followed Liu Xin to mess around with it. This is a kind of torture for Hide-Shishima who has obsessive compulsive disorder. Don't waste time. Enough, don't do it again. The scene in front of him was very lethal. Xin took the other person's eyebrow pencil and said with a smile, "Then do you say it or not?" No one thought of the torture of the soul, who cared to such an extent, still gritted his teeth and said, "Don't, I won't say it. I won't say it anyway." In the eyes of the younger brothers, his admiration grew even more, and he praised, "You can turn around indifferently, turn around forcefully, and if the elder sister lets go of you, she will lose. And it doesn't matter just turning around, if you break them yourself, do you dare?" What a good teammate, really. The best teammate in the world. Liu Xin immediately hit it off. "Yes, take off the lipstick. I've wanted to try it for a long time, but I haven't had a girlfriend who will give me a chance and let me experience Kang. The limited edition lipstick was picked up, peeling off the lid, poplar, radish, almond, Givenchy inside. The paste slowly rose, and the queen color of the limited edition was displayed in front of everyone's eyes. Liu Xin slowly put her hand on it, and said with a sinister smile, "Are you going to tell me or not? If you don't tell me, it will be difficult for me to guarantee your safety." Chapter 60, A Man's Mouth is a Liar. Liu Xin turned the lipstick to its highest point, gently put her hand on it, and said with a sinister smile, "Do you want to say it or not?" AI Chuchuan on the other side had a creepy feeling, but he humbly recorded it and learned, this is what to do to be a bad person. The smile must be sinister, the expression must be vulgar, and hey, don't imitate it. What's wrong with learning to be a bad person? Chishima Hyde's heart was bleeding, and his expression almost turned into a mask of pain, but he still insisted, "No, I won't say it. I would rather die than give up," and almost cried, and said tearfully, "Did you hear that? Sister, if you don't break it, we will look down on you. Break it. If it's a man, break it. For me." Chideo Wang gritted her teeth and said, "You are afraid of the world. Is it okay? Please shut up." Without any caution or hesitation, it was simply torn apart. Liu Xin looked at the broken lipstick, and said in surprise, "That's it? The lipstick is so soft." I said my hand slipped. "Are you asking me if I believe it?" "I believe you." "Amazing." Chideo Wang's entire body was twisted into a mask of pain, and she shouted at Liu Xin, "I won't let you go, absolutely not. Just wait for me, I will definitely get revenge for this later." She touched her fingers, and showed an awkward smile. "I really want to fall in love with this feeling. Anyway, there are so many lipsticks here, how about we continue?" Chideo Hyde didn't say anything, and the younger brothers responded, "Goodbye, continue. Goodbye. Our elder sister is so heartbroken that she has lost." Hatsukura Rai suddenly found something good and said excitedly, "I know, I've seen it, it seems to be a limited edition lipstick. And it's basically impossible to buy it now. Break this guy is worth something." Listen, is this a human saying? It's okay for Hatsukura to keep quiet and not act, but when he speaks and acts, it's a deliberate blow. Chideo Hing completely put on the mask of pain, and watched helplessly as several lipsticks were broken in front of him. Liu Xin mercilessly broke all the limited edition lipsticks. Every time one broke, Kai Daoing's heart began to bleed. On the contrary, the younger brothers behind him became more excited. "Go on, I will look down on you if you don't continue." Also, there are more there. Hyde Chishima doubted more than once who his companions were. There are these guys behind him. They can't fight, but they are deceiving themselves. I finally got to the last lipstick. With this look, color, and decoration, whoever doesn't understand it knows that this is a branded product. She was anxious. The moment Liu Xin put her hand on it, Kyan Daoang gave up, and she immediately stopped him. I say. Don't break it. It took all my money and connections to get it. Don't touch it no matter what." On the ground, the lipstick was broken, and her heart was bleeding. Cruel. The man in front of me is so cruel. Is this something a human can do? Liu Xin put away the last lipstick, and said with a smile, "It would be great to do this earlier. How much does this place cost? If you don't feel bad, I feel heartbroken. Talking earlier to get rid of it earlier. I put it away, I said it." The younger brothers were a little disappointed and sighed. Senior sister finally lost. She can't resist. "You can only attack us if you open your big sister's mouth." Adu stared at Hyde Chishima, waiting for her to explain all her doubts. Chideo Hyde protected her cosmetics before starting to reveal everything. Originally, she planned not to mention it at all, but Liu Xin insisted that she had to say it. As for the bond relationship you're talking about, I don't know what it is. After all, after we handed these Pokémon over to Team Rocket, they came back like this. There are also those characteristics and the method of using life points to become stronger. Everything was handed over to the Rockets after a while. Give it to the Rockets. Now everything is clear and the finger is pointed at the evil organization Team Rocket. Liu Xin emphatically asked, "Are you sure you don't have any other information to hide from me?" Hide, Shishima said sadly. "What else do you want to know? It's true that we didn't have much contact or understanding, except then tell me, what are your characteristics?" Kyandeo Yungai said that the characteristics were similar to Liu Xin's guesses. One is perfect copy, which can completely copy the characteristics of the enemy Pokémon, but it can only copy the opponent's characteristics on the spot. This has both good and bad qualities. The second characteristic is damage annihilation, which can annihilate most attacks, especially those that are restricted, and attacks of the same attribute. It turns out that this is the case. No wonder the Dragon's Claw was destroyed at that time, which is a skill with the same attribute. Although there are only 2 characteristics, these 2 characteristics are extremely terrifying, and when used together, they are very powerful. After Liu Xin understood everything, he smiled and said, "The fight there is over. It's time to hand them over to the academy. You can reflect on yourselves in the academy, but how to get there now?" Liu Xin, he is simply a super fool on the road. Fortunately, Hatsukura Rai is here. She had a very good sense of direction, and led them to successfully meet Itaguro and his group. Moriang Xiang ran straight over, tears in her eyes. "It's good that you are okay. I'm very worried about you. Why do we always encounter such dangerous things? Promise me not to act like a hero next time, okay?" Liu Xin gently wiped the tears from the corners of the other party's eyes, and said softly, "We will analyze the specific issues in detail later." Oh, I thought you were really crying, so. You wiped it for me. Wipe your tears, I cried so much. Itaguro also wanted to come over to hug him, but men and women were treated differently. Liu Xin directly pushed the other party away, and said in disgust, "Don't do this, I feel sick to my stomach. This is a tissue, you can deal with it yourself." The newly joined Chuchuan swelled his mouth and said angrily, "Liu Xin, don't use it. I'll step aside. Also, how can you be so close to Liu Xin? Stay away." He grabbed Liu Xin's back and hid behind her to watch. Xiang Xian, seeing that the relationship between the two was so good, Moriang Xiang said with a smile, "Liu Xin, what's going on? You should explain it carefully. Why did this girl from the Pokémon Academy follow you? No. Did you use something inappropriate? Do you mean to kidnap the girl?" Liu Xin quickly waved his hand and said, "No. Do I look like that kind of person?" "Zio, hey, come here and help me. This scene is not very good." Sighing, "I don't know who asked me to stand aside and wipe my tears by myself. It's really the mouth of a man, a liar." Chapter 61 5 Lightning Whips. The matter was quickly calmed down, and the Pokémon Academy said that it would handle it properly. The most important thing is that this incident was entirely caused by the students, so a large compensation was given. The 4 Liu Xin were qualified to choose Pokémon, but unfortunately for him, they did not want any of them. It is not that he does not want it, but that among so many Pokémon, I can't even kill a single ground-type Pokémon. Kyandeo Dashu looked at Liu Xin's leaving figure and cursed, "You will receive revenge from the organization later, and will never have a good life. Just wait, you will soon become the next me." A port city, connected to many port lines, is an important maritime stronghold. The sunset here is particularly beautiful, exuding orange color, and charming to the soul. Moriang Xiang and Hatsukura Rai were obsessed with it, and were full of love. "Isn't it so beautiful? Liu Xin, come and take a photo as a souvenir." By these 2 women in the past 2 or 3 days, the child was tortured to death. However, now that the relationship is uncommon, it is not a big headache. Itaguro looked at Liu Xin, who was going to take pictures, let out a sigh of relief and said, "Maybe, sometimes it is good that no one is chasing you. It's like I'm now, alone and relaxed. He said as he spoke, tears fell. It was very awkward. Moriang Xiang and Hatsukura Rei kept asking who was more beautiful. This was simply a torture of the dead soul. Fortunately, Itaguro shout ended the fight. Liu Xin, it's almost closing time. Why don't you hurry up and challenge the gym? Fortunately, there are not many people challenging the gym today. Everywhere is all filled with electric current, and even the air has an electric current flowing through it. The battle in the gym was even more intense with lightning and thunder, and the 100,000 volts were lit up at will. Young man, try my famous trick. 5 consecutive whips. You still want to sneak attack me? You really have no martial ethics. Radtail Juice. Old uncle is the gym leader and challenge a duel. It was actually a Pokémon duel between 5 and 5. Liu Xin was a little surprised. Isn't the previous gym leader Masashi? How did he become the old man in front of me? Not quite right. Itaguro patiently introduced Ku changes to Yidaogwen. Masashi left the gym a long time ago, so a good friend of his took over. It's the old man in front of me, Go. And the rules of their gym competition are for 5 Pokémon to fight against 5 Pokémon at the same time in a group battle. It's a really unique battle mode, which is a change from the previous solo battles. Such a battle mode might prove a little interesting. It's just that 5 Pokémon are mandatory, which is very unfriendly to Liu Xin. After much thought, he realized that there were only 4 Pokémon, including the pet eggs, that hadn't hatched yet, which were only 5. At the moment, when thoughts were spinning, the battle at Mabaoguo ended, and a perfect victory was achieved. Are you here to challenge me? You're so young, do you want me to give you some water? Mabaoguo showed his big yellow teeth, and looked at the 4 of them with a smile. Itohei and Liu Xin expressed their intention to come, and then the battle began. The starter, Itokuro, has exactly 5 Pokémon. Ninetales, Fire Horse, Ladder, Metal Monster, and the Mukbad trapped in the forest. Mukir is the evolution of Mukir. Compared to before the evolution, its body has grown significantly, the feathers on its head have become curlier, and a black part has appeared on the front of its claws, which looks sharper. In addition, the forehead area, that was originally round has turned grey after the evolution. The feathers on its tail have also become more vigorous than before the evolution, and the beak still has a black pattern. This appearance made Liu Xin very envious. She likes flying bird Pokémon very much, they are cute and practical, but it is a pity that she does not deserve it. The odds of winning this battle are very high. A metal monster can absorb a large amount of lightning, and then launch a fierce attack. So victory is just a matter of time. She hadn't learned much while studying at the Pokémon Academy. It wasn't hopeless. The battle was exactly as she said. The situation was very clear. It was just a matter of time. It only took 10 minutes to defeat Mabaoguo. Itohei held the withered leaf metal, let out a long sigh, and said, I almost overturned the car. It's a bit difficult to guard against Master Ma's pineapple-shaped 5-shot whip. It's really powerful. Quick blessing and various this inexplicable attack is powerful. Mabaoguo laughed and called Liu Xin over. It's an exaggeration. It's not that powerful. Come on, honey, let me see how strong you are. I'm a partner with the last guy, so it must not be weak. Liu Xin touched his head and said, Master Ma, I don't have 5 Pokémon. Can I only get 4? Mabaoguo quickly waved his hand. If you don't give it, you don't give it. If you don't have 5 Pokémon, you have to catch enough of them before challenging me. You can only bite the bullet. Liu Xin took out the pet egg and said with a smile, Master Ma, I wonder if this pet egg is a Pokémon? Although it hasn't been drawn yet, it has wings. Mabaoguo was a little embarrassed, but in the end he decided to agree. In this way, Liu Xin has exactly 5 Pokémon. Flashing Karakura, Mutated Baby Elephant, Giant Rock Snake, Super Fanged Land Shark, and winged pet eggs that haven't hatched yet. This seems a little strange, but it works. It has all the ground attributes, and has a restraining effect on Mabaoguo's all-electric Pokémon. After all, not everyone can become a master of reverse attributes like Ash Ketchum. Mabaoguo roared, you came prepared. No wonder you only need 4 Pokémon. You're very confident, young man. The battle just consumed my first Pokémon team, so I'll fight you with a brand new team. Naughty Thunderbolt, Naughty Thunderbolt, Magnemite 3-in-1, Raichu, and Electabuzz. This is Mabayo-Guo's battle Pokémon, and the most powerful one that needs attention is Electabuzz. There is a black electricity symbol on the abdomen of the electric beast. It also has some black fur all over its body, like a tiger. There are two things on its head that look like conductors, which can help it store electricity. Both its attacks and special attacks are terrifying, making it a formidable foe. But this is interesting, otherwise it would be meaningless if it was solved instantly. The level suppression made his Pokémon a little quieter, but it was still full of fighting spirit. Young man, let me try my famous trick next. 5 whips. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62 Gym Competition. As soon as the 5 lightning whips were uttered, all the Pokémon in front of him began to emit electricity and looked extremely excited. I have seen this move in previous battles. It is not simple and extremely destructive. Liu Xin asked his Pokémon to pay more attention and see the opponent's movements clearly. He started to move, and several bolts of lightning joined together to form a thunder net. But their mutual movements and behaviors made Liu Xin a little surprised. Is this really an action that can be used to attack or defend? The movements were very strange, but he couldn't catch any traces and couldn't see clearly. The 5 Pokémon began to disperse, but the thunder net never broke. The large rock snake didn't pay so much attention to it and just walked past it, simply and rudely. However, the 5 Pokémon actually dodged it with a strange movement. Raichu's tail turned into a steel tail and struck it on the head. Dragon Claw. The fanged land shark immediately caught up and blocked the blow. But this attack was not weak, and the fanged land shark was instantly knocked down. Immediately, several bolts of lightning struck it, one after another. Kara. Shining Kara's support and cooperation are the most eye-catching among all Pokémon, and the bone club in his hand immediately flew out. The powerful impact shattered all the lightning, causing waves in the void. Fireball. After the thunder and lightning attack, it was time for Little Elephant to act. Countless fireballs flew towards them, carrying blazing, piercing fire. Boom. The defensive power of the thunder net is very outstanding. They simply changed their moves and blocked all the fireballs. Oh ho ho, not bad. I didn't expect that your little elephant actually has fire attributes. It's very powerful, but my famous trick is not in vain. I saw that its movements began to become illusory, layer by layer. The layers are stacked together, and it looks very psychedelic. The speed and attack are constantly improving. Liu Xin now knows how complicated this 5-shot lightning whip is, and the amplification effect is very good. Liu moved first, dust rising from the ground, and his speed was very fast. Then the thunder and lightning beast came out, moving like thunder and carrying extremely strong explosive power. It's just that, no matter how they attack, the thunder net is not broken and is connected to each other. There are thorns everywhere. All the Pokémon attack together, and their power and lethality cannot be underestimated. The Lichu that was originally rushing was directly blocked. The number of these ground thorns was too deadly. The entire body of the Thunder Beast was wrapped in thunder and lightning. Thunder Fist. It is still very difficult to break through with violence. Big Rock Snake, attack the 3 guys behind. Little Elephant will help. Little Elephant directly jumped on Big Rock Snake, jumped up, and killed the mischievous thunderbolts. 100,000 volts. At the same time, 300,000 volts burst out, which is a necessary skill for the electric system. It hit the Big Rock Snake, but even so, the physical strength did not decrease much. That's it. The Big Rock Snake will never be idle if it can ridicule its size or disdainful. Those 3 guys were very unhappy. Although Naughty Layden had a smile on his face, he was dissatisfied in his heart. Multiple electric shocks fell wildly, and the little elephant also joined the battle. The 3-in-1 magnetic monster took on the heavy responsibility and its entire body began to rotate at high speed, absorbing all the thunder, lightning and airwaves. The gyroscopic wind enveloped it, and with such rotation, except for the small whirlwind and the faint grey, everything else seemed to no longer exist. Gyroscopic ball. It also has many electric currents attached to it to strengthen the damage attack. Steel attribute attacks will not be completely absorbed or blocked by the big rock snake. Do you want to play ball? The little elephant uses the round shape to play against it. See who is tougher and who is stronger. Holding his breath, the little elephant curled up, and the grey ball took shape. Immediately, flames rose up and enveloped the entire body, surrounded by many earth thorns. The 3-in-1 magnetic monster rushed directly towards the gyroscopic ball. Both sides were advancing fiercely, and the attacks were not easy. Boom. The two sides collided with each other, sparks, lightning, and gravel flying. After all, the armor-breaking ability of fire was superior. As time passed, the 3-in-1 magnetic monster was directly burned to unconsciousness and fell to the ground in defeat. Mabayogo said in surprise, "I didn't expect that your flames were so strange and capable of causing continuous damage. I was careless and didn't dodge. But there is enough time, you two can't escape." Mischievous thunder bomb. Use self-destruct. Naughty Laydan's smiling face began to enlarge, his entire body expanded crazily, and the power he absorbed continued to deepen and grow stronger. Unstable electric current stirred within the body and instantly exploded. Bang! A terrifying sound spread out. As the exclusive skill of Naughty Thunder Bomb, its lethality cannot be underestimated. Wind and waves swept in all directions, and two large craters appeared on the ground. Liu Xin was astonished by the sound of the system in his mind. It was really powerful. Ding! Naughty Thunder Bomb uses self-destruction against Big Rock Snake and Little Elephant, and the effect is remarkable. The damage caused by the explosion was devastating and fatal. It could be seen that the entire body of the Big Rock Snake was scorched and had many scars, making it difficult to defend. The little elephant had to reinforce many defenses and become round to barely resist, and was equally embarrassed. As for Naughty Thunder Bomb, its physical strength has bottomed out, and it is impossible to continue fighting. 2 Pokémon eliminated 3 Pokémon. No matter how you look at it, it was a sure win. Mabayogo exclaimed, "I was really surprised that I wasn't instantly killed. It seems that your Pokémon is much stronger than I thought. But it's impossible to continue fighting, right? It's too early to say that. My Pokémon can't be seen with normal eyes. They are all crazy fighters who refuse to admit defeat. Next thing you know, the Pokémon may need to look at their physical strength, but Liu Xin's 4 physical strength values are useless, and rely entirely on the will to fight. Big Rock Snake, Little Elephant." The two boys roared, and their fighting power returned. It is obviously a roaring output. The stronger the output, the higher it is. You two will play support. Fangtooth Landshark and Caracalla. Each of you will choose a battle. It's time to end this battle. Kara. The two roared and searched for their opponent in a tacit understanding. Caracalla faced Raichu, while the Fanged Landshark faced the Thunder Beast, which was considered suitable for its size. The Thunder Beast's attacks are very sharp, and its pace is very psychedelic. The Fang Shark has had its skills void many times. Fangtooth Landshark, open the quicksand hell, catch it and slow it down. Gravel and sand began to gather, surrounding the Thunder Beast in front of it, as if it were alive. The Thunder and Lightning Beast immediately wrapped itself in lightning, and with a thunderous thunder, it tore through the quicksand. Mountain slide. Countless stones erupted from the large rock snake in an instant, hitting the charging Thunder Beast. Chapter 63 Obtaining Medals and Fishing in the Port. Yansheng's sudden attack caught the electric beast by surprise, and the direct attack was completely useless. But the rubble in front of him mercilessly split open, and the bright dragon claws shot out. Electric beast, use the wall of light. The lightning turned into a wall, which offset a large amount of damage, but it was unable to completely block it. The dragon claws ruthlessly left scars on the opponent's body, and blood immediately bloomed, and the bleeding effect was activated. The physical strength began to decrease crazily. In just a few seconds, the electric beast felt exhausted and out of breath. Bleeding effect? Good boy, it seems that I still underestimate you, but the electric beast is not so easy to fall. Show them how powerful we are. Thunder Fist wrapped around both fists, and then them quickly punched out. Very quickly, 5 punches per second put the Fangtooth Landshark at a disadvantage, unable to completely block it. Fangtooth Landshark. He roared angrily, clearly annoyed by the blow. The electric beast had a disdainful expression on its face, and used its Thunder Fist to do its best trick. Fangtooth Landshark used Dragon Breath. Inhaling and exhaling, the dragon roared. The threat suddenly appeared, the pressure increased, and the electric beast's eyes became solemn. This was a killer move. Mabayogo calmly said, then we will also use the strongest attack, Discharge. The electric beast roared. The tentacles on its head began to discharge crazily, and its entire body absorbed lightning. Suddenly, thunder and lightning crisscrossed, attacking and destroying the surroundings wantonly. Each bolt of lightning was as thick as an arm and raised wind and waves with great force. And the sharp-toothed Landshark Dragon's Breath, which has been tempered and fought in many battles, is not far behind, and its power is not inferior at all. Dragon's Breath and Electric Discharge are instantly fired. A small blue dragon roared and charged forward with its fangs and claws. On the other side, there were countless lightning bolts and impacts, pulling and tearing the ground, filling the air with electric current. Itagiro and the others felt their hearts palpitate as they looked at the battle scene, which was so powerful. The number of discharges was dense, but the attack was too scattered. Although it did not completely block the dragon's breath, it was able to break through and rush straight towards the Fangtooth Landshark. Fangtooth Landshark used the earth spikes to defend against these attacks. The earth spikes suddenly rose up, but because they were in a hurry, they could not block them all, and were still attacked. Fangtooth Landshark. A trembling roar was heard, and a large amount of electricity enveloped the entire body, causing a paralysis effect. On the other hand, for the electric beast, the wall of light and electric shock merely offset the dragon's breath and only suffered slight damage. At the end of the day, neither side benefited from it. Take advantage of his illness to kill him. Electric beast, use Thunder Fist. Thunder and lightning possessed him. Lightning flashed, and electric beast rushed towards the sharp-toothed Landshark with all his might. Master Ma, it's not good to keep your target in front of you. Little Elephant, charge up the flame attack. Little Elephant's entire body was engulfed in flames, and it moved very quickly. Boom. There was a loud noise, and the unsuspecting electric beast behind was perfectly struck. How could it, which had already suffered a lot of damage, continue to hold on and be killed in one hit? When the dust settled, Little Elephant and Electric Beast fainted and fell down at the same time. Mabayogo looked at the defeated Electric Beast and sighed. You youngsters don't respect martial ethics and perform sneak attacks to attack my severely injured Electric Beast. It's really he wanted to say something more, but it seemed like it was a group fight he requested. Who can you blame? The Fang Shark's paralysis effect disappeared, and he struggled to break free. Looking at the battle on Caracalla with fierce eyes, only their battle is left now. Caracalla and Raichu fought back and forth, and the steel tail blocked Caracalla's bone club attack. Each other's attacks are not weak, and this Raichu is Master Ma's trump card. Likyu, use Thunderbolt. Suddenly, thunder and lightning began to fall from all directions, and lightning flashed. Unfortunately, Caracalla has lightning rod properties, so electric attacks have no effect. It even grants him increased special attack damage the second after hitting Caracalla. He completely defeated the Raichu in front of him. This means that Raichu has no choice but to use normal attacks and attacks with other attributes. Thunder Fist. Lightning covered his fist and struck it hard and quickly. Caracalla uses a bone club to enhance many attacks and attack them at one point. Bang. The sound spread out, and Raichu was directly knocked down. Big Rock Snake, suppress it. The Big Rock Snake hadn't fallen yet. It raised its big tail and smashed it at the flying Thunder Qiu. Mabayogo shouted, use the steel tail to block. There was a loud noise and Raichu used his steel tail to barely withstand the blow. The ground cracked, making Mabayogo look ugly. Before he could react, a boomerang flew far away. Another sneak attack. Raichu was knocked down and fell instantly. Sneak attack me again, young man, you are a rat. In just 3 minutes, the gym game in front of him ended. In fact, it's very easy and smooth due to the attribute restriction. Ground-type Pokémon can block electric-type attacks on their own, so it's not a big problem. Mabayogo handed the badge to Liu Xin inside. Although I'm a little unconvinced, young man, your Pokémon is indeed very strong. Practice hard, I'm very optimistic about you, he said a little jealously. The battle ended so quickly, more than twice as fast as me. It seems that I have to practice hard, otherwise you will put a lot of pressure on me. Liu Xin just smiled and didn't say much. After coming out of the gym, it was already getting late, so they found a hotel and rested for the next day. The Pokémon contest starts in 4 hours. Are you ready, Xiaoxiang? There was another reason why they stayed in Deadly City. That is to participate in the Pokémon contest. Moriangxiang patted his chest and said, no problem, I've been ready for a long time. But there's still a long time before it starts, so don't be so eager to go there and just walk around and visit. I don't know if there are any in Kuai City. There's no fun in it. Itaguro acted as a tour guide and said with a smile, let's go fishing. This is a port city, and we fish. Competitions are an important feature here. Let's try it from the academy anyway. Isn't it easy to get a lot of money and buy a qualification? Everyone agreed and went straight to the fishing port everywhere. They didn't expect there to be so many people, but such a lively event was exactly what they wanted. Excuse me, are the 4 of you here to experience fishing at the port? There are 101 people now, and there is a package price for 4 people. Chapter 64, Itokuro's Highlights, Arena Match. Liu Xin didn't believe it, he just followed him to take a look. There was no need for him to spend money. The water-type Pokémon didn't stand a chance against him. After all, he had no way to get it back. On the contrary, the other 3 were very excited. In particular, the 2 girls Hatsuko Ai and Mori Yasuka talked about the competition from the beginning. How about whoever catches a better water-type Pokémon wins? HMPH, I won't lose to you. Please give me good luck. They looked at each other and immediately began to quietly wait for Kemon to take the bait Pokémon. Itaguro just waited patiently and watched the flow of people around him. Hey, Liu Xin, what do you think of that big sister's figure? And that one, she's really amazing. I didn't expect so many intellectual big sisters to come fishing. Liu Xin was also attracted. He said with a smile, it turns out that the drunkard's intention is not on the wine, but on these senior sisters. You are the best. Itaguro smiled lightly and said, I don't dare to take it seriously, how dare I say that? When the 2 women were competing, Liu Xin and Itaguro visited the mountains and had a great time. He took the bait. Among the 3 people, the one who took the bait the fastest was Itaguro. This made the 2 adult men wake up and react at the same time. Pull the thread quickly, pull the thread quickly. It looks like a big guy, use some strength. Liu Xin directed Itaguro from the side, asking him to use more strength. The water keeps rolling, and it is unknown whether something big will emerge. It's not that big, and it looks like a Gyarados, right? Liu Xin joked beside him. If he could really catch a Gyarados, he would be very lucky. The splashing of the water became more and more violent, and soon a blue figure appeared in front of them. Open your mouth, it's really a Gyarados. You must know that the probability of catching a Gyarados is so low that it directly attracts onlookers. Many fishing experts admired it. What kind of fishing technique is this? It can actually catch a big guy like Gyarados. I think I've been fishing for 2 or 3 years and there aren't many real carp, let alone stocks like these. Gyarados, in an instant, it became Itaguro's highlight. He scratched the back of his head and said, no, even though I'm so good, so handsome, and so amazing, I'm still not as powerful as you say. Basic operations, just basic operations. A little bit of sunshine. Bright, it just floated away. Liu Xin took a break to watch the 2 women's battles. Nothing and no sign of success. Moriangxiang quietly released his giant claw crab and blue crocodile and whispered, go down and see where there are powerful water-type Pokémon and help me catch them. But Liu Xin caught him for this. A smile. Xiaoxiang, the competition must be fair and equal. Cheating like this is not allowed. So it's better for you to wait and fish. As for Hatsukura AI's side, it was very calm. After all, she had no bad intentions to cheat, and was just waiting for the Pokémon to take the bait. It's just that this girl is really stupid. She looked at the unopened feed beside her and said helplessly, "Zyro AI, do you know what this is?" Hatsukura AI was shocked. Not at all. She looked at the feed carefully and asked doubtfully, "Isn't it written as food? Should we rent a fishing rod and buy snacks? I'm not greedy yet, so I don't feel like eating." Zin, if you want to eat, you can take it apart and eat it yourself. Snacks, can you take it apart and eat it? Liu Xin was completely dumbfounded. Both of these guys were idiot fishermen, right? Even Ataguro caught a Gyarados, but these two guys didn't even hook the hook. Moriang Xiang also said excitedly, "If you don't have enough food, I have some here. Anyway, I can definitely feed you." Liu Xin covered her face and said, "No need, do you think always? When you drop the hook into the water, you will get enough food. Are the Pokémon here to eat? Isn't that right?" The two women said in unison, surprisingly consistent in some aspects. Nothing to say. Liu Xin was silent for a long time and said, "Let me introduce it to you from the beginning. These are not snacks, but fish bait. You need to use them to fish instead of using hooks directly, understand?" The two women suddenly realized, clapped their hands, and said, "No wonder we have been fishing for an hour without any results. It turns out that there is no fish food. Fortunately you are here, otherwise we may waste this opportunity and time." Silly Baitian is sometimes good. Is it good or bad? Liu Xin didn't know, and didn't bother to imagine it. He came to the fishing rest area in the port, and there was a Pokémon duel field in front of him. This is totally a place for fishermen to fight. It can be used to display the Pokémon you just caught, and it is very practical. Liu Xin curiously looked at the competition in front of him, which was a duel between water-type Pokémon. A child sat quietly beside him and exclaimed, "This is Dalang's 10th consecutive victory, right? There really isn't any trainer who can rival him. He's too powerful." Liu Xin started to get a little interested and whispered, "Can anyone go up and challenge this? It won't just restrict Pokémon for fishermen, right?" The boy nodded and said, "Yes, everyone can go up and participate in the contest. And if you win, you will receive gifts from the store, which can be regarded as a means of stimulating consumption." After learning about it, I realized that, if you want to participate in a challenge or duel, you must pay an entry fee of 50 yuan. Of course, the more consecutive victories, the greater the rewards, which is similar to playing in a ring. It just so happened that I couldn't fish, so I was very bored. It's a good pastime to try this gym competition. I want to challenge Takeda in front of me. This is the entry fee. The referee immediately arranged it. Takeda was the winner of today's 10 consecutive victories. He looked at Liu Xin with interest. "I didn't expect someone to dare to challenge me. It's really not smart. How to be a human being." The sting jellyfish is a jellyfish-shaped Pokémon with a blue head. It is wider and larger than the agate jellyfish. It still has two red agate-like objects on its head, one larger and one smaller. The eyes moved to the lower black part, and blue pincer-like objects grew. The number of tentacles increases to 80, but they fall off with age. Directly give Liu Xin a show of strength and intimidate him. Liu Xin directly sent out the shiny Karakura, who was in full condition. Karakura, teach them a lesson. Chapter 65 New Skill, Small Windmill. Flash Karakura started to sneer and shout as soon as it appeared on the stage. The stinging jellyfish's tentacles waved in full swing, which looked very scary from a distance. Dalang smiled slightly and said, "Your Pokémon is very arrogant, but my jellyfish has a bad temper, so you have to be careful. Likewise, I don't have a good temper either. When it meets, it loses its temper and shouts and provokes. If you don't attack, start from my side. The stinging jellyfish will use the squeaking sound." The stinging jellyfish didn't hesitate. Its tentacles danced, and soon its own rubies began to make sounds. Harsh, extremely unpleasant. This kind of sound cannot be blocked, and is used to disgust the opponent. Karakura couldn't help but cover her ears with her hands, but it still came to her mind, making her dizzy and very uncomfortable. It can be seen that something is wrong with Caracala's body now, and it is not breathing fluently. The defense is reduced a lot, and the opponent's first attack is very effective. Ultrasonic. Before the loud sound of the previous blow ended, the fluctuations began to change. All united, they are all attacks from the soul and spirit. No wonder it is so difficult to deal with this guy. Caracalla, take care of your mind, and the other party must not confuse you. Ultrasonic waves have a chaotic effect. If you can't resist it, you will fall into a state of chaos. It would be very bad if it entered a state of chaos. You can't use moves, and the possibility of attacking yourself is very high. It's over. No one can block the jellyfish's ultrasonic waves. Dalong was very confident. He always used these two moves to win. At this moment, the Caracalla in front of him was not the opponent he thought. Caracalla hit himself hard on the head with a bone stick, and instantly woke up, extremely excited. Dalong looked at him, opened his mouth wide, and said, "Isn't it so cruel? But it doesn't matter, the stinging jellyfish uses poisonous needles." The tentacle swung out, and a sting with poison was sent out one after another, aiming straight at Caracalla. Use Earth Thorn to block them all. With the blessing of the bone necklace, the number and power of the Earth Thorns are obvious, and it is easy to resist the poisonous thorns from all over the sky. And when his bone mace is struck, it seems to play the music of the earth, and a terrifying tremor floats under the stinging jellyfish. No, Dalong frowned. The sudden attack of this earth thorn is too secretive, and not everyone can discover it immediately. Bang! The surprise attack was successful, and it caused a lot of damage to the stinging jellyfish. The most important thing was to block the opponent forcefully. I was actually prepared with both hands. The stinging jellyfish melted to corrode all these attacks. Suddenly, the entire body began to soften, turning into a dissolved liquid in the blink of an eye, with a lavender color and a strong corrosive smell. All the thorns on the ground melted in an instant, and its body also liquefied and broke free. Before it could react, Caracalla's figure quickly approached. It's over. Caracalla uses the bone club to hit it at random. Caracalla actually launched her charge in advance, waiting for it to exhaust its skills. It was too fast. Everything happened too suddenly, and there was no way to avoid it. It had no time to dodge. The bone club in its hand was shining with a brown luster, and it hit it hard immediately. Boom. 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 The first blow made the jellyfish feel stunned and unable to stabilize its body. However, this attack continued continuously, one club after another, without stopping at all. It falls like a drum, and the storm never stops. After the fourth blow, the stinging jellyfish was knocked unconscious and fell to the ground. The referee looked at the decision, raised his hand and said, "The stinging jellyfish can't get up again, and has no fighting ability. The winner is Liu Xin. The undefeated record is over." Dalong and the surrounding audience were extremely shocked. That guy Dalong relied on this method to win more than 10 games in a row and was defeated. Good in all aspects, and has rich combat experience. This kid is not simple. Dalong is also a ship in the gutter. The sounds around him made Dalong sigh and said, "I admit that I underestimated the enemy, but your Caracalla is really powerful." Convinced. In a one-on-one duel, if you lose, you will be dismissed. This is the rule. Dalong sighed and stepped down, a little reluctant to accept the battle at this moment. After all, if you don't underestimate the enemy, the situation of the battle may change. Liu Xin said a few words of encouragement to Caracalla. He was so proud that he would shine if he was given some sunshine. Just as he was already getting carried away, the challenger stepped onto the stage. "Let me be your next challenger." Ground-type Pokémon and Water-type Pokémon have a restricted effect. I really don't know how that guy lost. The thorny sea dragon's body is covered in horns or spikes and its tail is curled. It is larger and stronger than the seahorse. The thorny sea dragon's color is beige and blue. The mouth changed from a cylindrical shape to a triangular prism shape. Caracalla glared fiercely in front of him, extremely fierce. However, Caracalla wasn't someone who was afraid of getting into trouble. He glared back with so much damn desire to win. The two of them hadn't even started yet and they were staring at each other. I didn't expect Seathorn's gaze to have no effect on you. You are a very brave Pokémon. However, the battle is about to begin now. Seathorn uses a smoker screen and then spits ink out of his mouth and sprayed it towards Caracalla. Perfect avoidance. It was impossible for these tiny inks to hit him, but there was a thick fog around him, completely blocking his sight. Caracalla's impact and visibility are greatly reduced, making her extremely dangerous. Seathorn Dragon uses key gathering to move at high speed. Two improved methods. Key gathering improves its attack, strikes, and makes critical hits more accurate. High speed movement gradually increases speed through body movement. In this fog, these two movements are a perfect match for the Seathorn Dragon. I can only hear the sound, but I can't grasp the other person at all. Liu Xin suddenly made a bold guess, knowing that Caracalla had a bone stick. Caracalla, dance and spin your bone stick like an electric fan. The speed must be fast. The rotation speed is faster than that of the electric fan. Hearing this, Caracalla understood and began to dance the bone stick with both hands. The master playing the stick is different. He never stops and gradually speeds up from the unknown slowness of the beginning. The wind flow began to flow from the rotation of the bone rod, which was only stronger than an electric fan. It gradually dissipated the surrounding smoke and also caused a little damage from the strong wind. I actually managed to create my own skill. Then I will call this trick a small windmill from now on. Chapter 66, Fighting Again, Part 1. The thorny sea dragon retreated several steps and was slightly confused when its figure was revealed in front of everyone. What is going on? When did Caracalla still have this kind of ability? Even the trainer on the opposite side was dumbfounded. But he quickly came to his senses and calmly said, "My thorny sea dragon has grown stronger. I want to quickly defeat it. It's crazy." It was another enhanced attack, and a blue light was seen enveloping the thorny sea dragon's body, especially the head area. Concentrate your mental power a little and the next attack will definitely hit, making it impossible to dodge. Caracalla feels as if he is locked in and cannot be avoided no matter what. In this case, Liu Xin will have to face him head on. If that's the case, attack him directly and see who is more powerful. Caracalla uses the bone club to randomly hit him. Caracalla took a deep breath and concentrated all his strength on his bone club. The breath began to gather, the surrounding wind and waves intertwined, and the momentum was extraordinary. Instantly kill him with one move and use the water cannon against the thorny sea dragon. I saw the thorny sea dragon's mouth bulging, and the water around its body converging and entangling, emitting a dazzling blue light. The power is surging, and the aura is terrifying. In just a few seconds, a head-sized water gun spurted out of its mouth. The attack power is full, the impact is even more fierce, and the lethality must be considerable. Caracalla picked up his bone club and rushed forward, his bone necklace shining brightly. Light rock blocks cover the surface of the bone rod, strengthening the blow. Boom. A powerful impact was sent out, water splashed, and Caracalla's attack perfectly blocked the opponent's water cannon. The first blow opened a small passage, immediately followed by a series of attacks, getting stronger and stronger without stopping. The glow of the bone collar on Caracalla's chest is even more intense, and it continuously strengthens the ground attacks, enveloping Caracalla's bone rod, making the blows more violent. See Spiny Dragon, increase your intensity, and see if I don't kill it. The trainer decisively intensified the attack, and See Spiny Dragon was even more energetic, and used all his strength in this. Just fight Caracalla all over, and the attack and lethality will be apparent. Boom, boom, boom. The sound was getting closer and closer, and more water was splashed, which was very scary. How fast? Caracalla's bone club hit it, and the water cannon opened its mouth. The Sea Spiny Dragon can't be stopped at all. This duel is over. They were stunned by Caracalla's attack. The force is full of gratitude. Sure enough, during the fight between the two sides, a bone rod pierced through all the water cannons and hit the thorny sea dragon hard. There was no time to dodge, and it was instantly killed in one move. Caracalla took out the bone club and roared very proudly, very arrogant. Finally upgraded again. Liu Xin looked at Caracalla, who had experienced many battles, and his experience points soared crazily, all thanks to the bone necklace. If it weren't for the bone necklace, the experience points would still be quite low. Continuous battles will bring more experience points to Caracalla. Liu Xin is very clear, and the competition in the arena is easy to fight. For a time, Liu Xin's reputation soared, and he defeated 2 beings with good water attributes in a row. The most important thing is that he defeated Takeda, which is worthy of praise. The 3rd challenge is coming. I wonder if he can defeat Liu Xin. Instantly killed? It's not that bad. Let's see the 4th. Is this Caracalla drugged? The more he fights, the braver. That bone club is no different from the enchanted one. Caracalla swept through thousands of troops and obtained 14 consecutive victories in just 1 hour. According to regulations, as long as you reach 15 consecutive victories, you will be able to obtain the maximum reward and win the arena competition. The previous Takeda was a bit close, but unfortunately he was defeated by Liu Xin. The last one. A figure slowly walked in the distance and Liu Xin was a little surprised when he saw it. Liu Xin, you didn't even say a word to me when we were fighting in the ring. I never had the chance to fight you again before, but today is different. Months later, you know, Itaguro's progress is not slow. He doesn't lag behind and follows closely behind. Therefore, if we really have to fight, the outcome is unpredictable. Then, let's see how much your strength has increased. Liu Xin was not afraid at all, and Caracalla also had great fighting spirit. As expected, Itaguro sent out his strongest Pokémon, Ani. When he landed on the ground, he spread his wings and the fire shone brightly. Under the sunlight, he looked beautiful and majestic. What a beautiful fire horse. What's with these wings? These wings are like those of angels. It's so eye-catching. It seems that this battle is very interesting. He roared angrily, the flames boiling. 2 months ago, he was just a little fire horse, but he was defeated by Caracalla, which he has never forgotten. Today's battle can be considered a battle of revenge. Fire horse, Kara. Both sides were mocking and provoking their opponents, and the Pokémon remained the same, but many had changed. Let's attack first, and the fire horse will use punches. Itohei will not use fire attribute attacks rashly. After all, Caracalla's fire resistance is no joke. The fiery horse leans towards the sky and howls loudly. Its 4 legs exert force and there are cracks on the ground. Boom. Fast. So fast that you can't even see clearly. Caracalla and Liu Xin were dumbfounded. They didn't realize what kind of speed that was. Only then did they realize how abnormal the speed with Koalang's blessing was. Caracalla barely defended himself with a bone club, but his body was still injured. His physical strength greatly decreased, and he felt very uncomfortable. His breathing was disordered, and his eyes were ugly. This speed was too deadly. Did you see it clearly? No, I couldn't see it clearly at all. It was just a strong wind passing by and the attack was approaching. Has the speed of the fiery horse changed? They looked at the battle in front of them, and were a little excited. Itaguro said excitedly, have you seen it? This is the change of my fiery horse. 30 years in Hedon, 30 years in Hexy, I'm no longer the same person I was then. He also raised his hooves in a show of celebration. Caracalla clicked his tongue and shouted at Liu Xin several times. Yes, if I can defeat you once, I will naturally defeat you a second time. Caracalla, it's time for you to remember your attack methods at that time and start evading attacks. Activated. Rubble began to surround the surroundings and his eyes were alert and extremely serious. Your perfect evasion worked for me before, but it's completely useless against the fire horse blessed by Koalang. The fire horse uses high-speed movements and then grows horns. Chapter 67, Fighting Again, Part 2. The speed of the fire horse increased again, and the flames on its wings became more intense. This is the ultimate in speed. The slender horns began to become covered in silver, extremely sharp, and were aimed at Caracalla in a charging stance. Caracalla nervously watched the attack, and made movements to counterattack. No other sound could be heard, except the roar of the wind and waves. Charge. As Itohei roared, gravel flew, and a terrifying fiery red figure rushed forward. Look clearly. Caracalla could barely see the trajectory of the opponent's attack and dodge it. The bone stick in his hand acts as a medium, to borrow strength to block the spread. A crisp sound could be heard, and rocks flew out from the central area, causing bursts of impact. The powerful impact stabilized, and Caracalla blocked the attack. The amount of gravel on his body increased, and gradually took shape. Perfect avoidance begins successfully. Back off, use trample immediately. He waved his horns, immediately raised his feet, and the horse's hooves fell down. The change was lightning fast, but Caracalla was not a vegetarian. Earth Thorn. Suddenly, countless earth thorns protruded, colliding with the flaming horse's stomp. A crisp sound rang out, and the attack was instantly cancelled. Bang! After the collision, both sides retreated without gaining any advantage. Itaguro and Liu Xin looked at each other and smiled. They were good opponents and very difficult to deal with. But this kind of battle is interesting. In this case, the flame horse uses a charged flame attack. Even if the flames are useless to Caracalla, it will definitely not feel comfortable if it really hits it. The flames quickly enveloped and covered the raging horse, and even its body could not be seen. Only its shape could be seen, which was very intimidating. The surrounding air was distorted, and the audience felt hot due to the flow of the sea breeze. When the sun sets, the fire attack doubles. This is an environmental blessing. Too bad for Caracalla. If Caracalla couldn't perform this move, wouldn't he die instantly? No way. Why is a blessing of sunlight so great? It was already hot and now it's even more unbearable. It can be said to be a blessing of great enlightenment. The audience was filled with satisfaction. They were looking forward to it, guessing that this was the last fight. However, the two of them don't think so. Caracalla used the boomerang, and then used the earth spike. The two attack methods combined to completely block the opponent's charged flame attack. Boom. The flames completely exploded, and the leaping flames caused the arena to burn and boil. It turned into a sea of fire, and you could feel the hot fire element before you even got close. The fire horse's eyes flashed red, its strength gathered a little, and all four legs immediately moved together. Smoke and dust flew, the firelight flickered, and countless earth spikes were shattered during the process. The moment it was activated, the earth spike had already been launched, and the timing of the two sides completely coincided. These earth spikes are extremely fragile, and will be swallowed and shattered by the opponent's attack the charged flame. But it has no other use than consumption. Disable most of the charged flame attacks and rush out with a boomerang bite. There was a clear sound, and the two parties attacked each other. Caracalla, move. Everyone thought that Caracalla relied heavily on the Bone Club, but that was not the case. He could also attack well on his own. The bone rod spun under the attack of the charged flames, and Caracalla got so close that he grabbed the spinning bone rod with one hand, spun it in a circle with the help of his wrist, and then slammed it down tap. Boom. With a dull thud, the arena split open, and smoke and dust flew out. The flames spread through a channel and stopped, and the flaming horse was knocked down, and fell into the distance. It did not fall. Caracalla pulled out the bone club from the arena, and looked at his opponent with a cold expression. The flames of the fire horse disappeared, and it was scarred, but it still stood firm, its eyes stubborn, and unwilling to admit defeat. Everyone is still standing, still able to fight. The audience howled, wonderful. A back and forth fight. This is the Pokémon battle. Caracalla, let's go. Fire horse, let's go. Fight. Itohei smiled and said, your Pokémon is still very tenacious, but mine is not bad either. Then I don't know if you can still have sex. The extinguished flame rose again, stronger than before, without needing to store energy. The entire body was wrapped in flames like a roulette wheel, shining brightly in the sunlight. That's enough. The attack just now has brought your attack to its peak. Caracalla's entire body was wrapped in gravel, and the bone rod was also wrapped in rocks, making it very heavy. Hit with bone stick. Both sides began to prepare for the final fight, using everything they had. The force increases, and the wind blows. He takes a deep breath and throws in unison. There were sparks, and lightning all the way, one yellow and one red colliding. Smoke and dust rose, covering the entire arena. Flames erupted inside, and the gravel attack carried by the Bone Club also fell. Although the scene cannot be seen, the attacks are crisp and staggered. The final duel was too fierce, right? Look, the flames are still increasing. I think the fire horse won in the end. Nonsense, the gravel and blows obviously continue, so it is impossible. Say that Caracalla won. When they were arguing, everyone disappeared. The flames and the bone stick strikes disappeared, as if they no longer existed. The battle is over. Liu Xin and Itaguro were nervous, and both sides suffered a heavy blow. When the smoke cleared, the two figures standing were clearly visible. Didn't it even fall down? The burning horse had many wounds on its body, but it still stood upright, and did not fall down. Caracalla's entire body was scorched black, and had many scars. It was using bone rods to prevent itself from falling down. Tie. The audience was shocked. It might be good to get a draw in such an exciting battle. However, only they themselves know the result. The wind blew gently, dust rose, and the burning horse fell down. But Caracara did not. It slowly raised its small fist, pointed it at Itohei, and roared softly, "Kara, Kara." Although weak, everyone understood the meaning of this sentence. You lost. Itohei took back the fire horse, and said with a wry smile, "Thank you for your hard work. It seems that this is not enough to defeat you. But the next time we fight, it will definitely be my victory." Making such a statement, Liu Xin simply smiled and said, "I hope that I will be stronger by then. So just wait and let yourself be tortured by me again." Caracalla fell down during the conversation and finally couldn't hold on any longer. After all, victory is achieved through will. Our first winner of 15 consecutive games was born this month, and that is Liu Xin. Let's congratulate him with applause and invite Liu Xin to come and receive the reward. Chapter 68. Liu Xin dressed as a woman. In terms of rewards, Liu Xin doesn't care too much. After all the rewards were related to fishing, which made him not take it too seriously. He and Itaguro returned to the port, and saw that the two women were still fishing leisurely, without deciding the winner. "This magnificent contest starts in an hour, why don't you just pass it by?" Liu Xin reminded Mori Anxiang. Anxiang Mori whispered, "I'll rush over in a minute, but I can't lose this game." Liu Xin and Itaguro couldn't do anything about this damned desire to win. The two of them could only walk over and wait, familiarizing themselves with the place, which was better than doing nothing. The Harley contest is an event jointly organized by Kuai City and Saint Anuo. Firstly, it increases the popularity of Kuai City, and secondly, it brings the level of Saint Anuo to a higher level. Therefore, this jointly organized event attracted a lot of people to participate. Liu Xin and Itaguro paid some money and walked in. It was really a luxurious ship. The standards here are very high. If I didn't have a lot of money, I might not be able to get here. Itaguro seemed to just be looking around, but he was actually looking for a pretty girl. Liu Xin shook his head helplessly and said, "What a fuss, it's just a small scene." He soon followed Itaguro to look at the beauties everywhere. Time passed quickly, and the game began. However, neither Anxiang Mori nor Rei Hatsukora appeared. "I'm leaving, the game has started. What should I do? What should I do? They haven't come here yet." The two grown men looked at each other with a bad feeling. They asked about the consequences of not participating in the competition. He will be directly blacklisted. This is a bad thing for Mori Anxiang. If they really were to rush, it might be too late. Liu Xin took a deep breath and said, "There is only one way now, and that is to dress like a woman." "Can you find a girl to replace you?" After Itaguro asked, he looked around and there was no suitable woman at all. In fact, it was just women's clothing. Itaguro immediately said, "My skin is very dark. After thinking about it for a long time, you are the only suitable one. So, you go on stage to participate in the competition, replacing Mori Yasuka." Liu Xin planned to refuse and weighed it. For a long time, time did not permit, so I had to let it go. Itaguro found an older sister and said, "This sister seems to be very interested in helping you dress as a woman. I wish you a happy journey." Liu Xin felt a little aggrieved and whispered, "It's all for friends. We can't let Mori Anxiang be blacklisted. It's not because he wants to wear women's clothing. Absolutely not." The woman chuckled and said, "Little brother, your skin is of good quality, soft and elastic. It's very suitable for women's clothing. It just so happens that I have an outfit that I want to change into. What does it look like?" Liu Xin immediately showed Mori Xiang's photo to the woman. After seeing it, she understood and began to help Liu Xin put on makeup. In just 10 minutes, Itohei was extremely surprised. It's really similar, even better than Mori Xiang. I'm not sure, you are very suitable for women's clothing. Liu Xin said coldly. Liu Xin, will never be able to dress as a woman in the future, only this time. Actually, I can dress like a man and a woman, even though I'm 2 meters tall. God is really blind. At this moment, Liu Xin's eyes were stretched very wide, making him look lively and charming. Because he is shy, his rosy face makes him look attractive. Finally, adding some makeup embellishments and wigs, not only the similarity is very high, but also a little more flavor. I have to say that Liu Xin is suitable for women's clothing. Itaguro gave him a happy gesture and said with a smile, I'll record it well, don't worry and go. Magnificent contest, damn daddy. The host's voice came, we welcome you with applause. A group of contestants, Xiang Mori and Kotoko Tsumura. Let's see what wonderful performance they will give us. The competition here is based on one-on-one competition, based on appearance, movement display, and specialties. When Liu Xin stood still, all eyes fell on him, and his opponent immediately appeared. Tsumura Kotoko. She was a cute girl, wearing a pink skirt, and even the Pokémon ball was pink. Just a completely pink girl. You shouldn't have noticed me, right? The host compared Liu Xin's face and said in surprise, why do you think the photo is a little different from yours? Liu Xin smiled awkwardly and said, girls' photo should. And it's very rude of you, the host, to talk to girls like that. The host quickly apologized. I didn't pay enough attention. I'm really sorry. Then please. Release your Pokémon. Let the referee make an assessment. Liu Xin's mind was racing. Which Pokémon should he choose? His 4 Pokémon are all very ferocious. By the way, don't you have a very cute boy on your hands? The decision is up to you, little mutant elephant. When the little elephant came out, his fighting spirit was high and flames were crackling. But suddenly I realized that something wasn't right. Why wasn't it a combat zone? And his master actually turned into a girl. He approached Liu Xin hesitantly and shouted a few words, his face full of doubt. It's hard for me to explain this situation to you. Just act cute and deal with it. It's absolutely impossible to win anyway. I really don't think I can beat a real cross-dressing girl. After completing this competition, everyone is guaranteed to come to you first. Hearing this, the little elephant immediately puffed up its nose and flames rose, indicating a deal. The opponent also released its own Pokémon, Pippi. The host said, the players on both sides are full of fighting spirit, especially Mori Yasuka's little elephant. The flames are still burning. They are definitely excited. The referee took a few glances and commented, both players. All the Pokémon are very cute, but this little elephant is obviously more sensitive. Yes, it has a slightly deeper red on top of the original earthy brown color. It's cute and attractive at the same time, scoring in terms of appearance. Although Pippi is cute, she's too popular, so I vote for little elephant. In terms of appearance, all 5 judges unanimously voted for little elephant. No way. She passed the first level unanimously? Liu Xin himself didn't expect it, nor did Itohei in the stands. Didn't we promise that we would be eliminated in the first round? This is not a common practice. So the second criterion is the display of skills. Okay, I'm just using skills and combat moves. It's absolutely impossible to get high scores. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69. Inexplicable winning streak until the final. Liu Xin was thinking this, but her opponent was so powerful that she didn't expect it at all. Tsumura Kotoko just lets her skin be cute and her skills are just slaps. Sister, can you be more dedicated? It doesn't seem like I can win. In fact, Pippi was not very attractive and her eyes fell on the little elephant. Liu Xin gave the order. The little elephant uses a circle, and then the sparks ignite. The little elephant shrank into a ball, and flames began to spin along it. The firelight is intertwined. The inside and outside are layered, which looks very charming. It's so beautiful, after being rounded and adorned with flames. The combination of the two attributes and color shows unprecedented charm without being pricked by a needle. For a time, the referee gave Liu Xin a very good score. This makes Liu Xin a sure winner. But that directly caused Liu Xin's heart to collapse, and he planned to just go through the motions. Who knew that he could actually win? In the final special performance, Liu Xin won without even having to show anything. He was promoted out of nowhere, and he didn't even think about it. What did I just do? Why did you advance so easily? Liu Xin asked, and Otohei sighed. Maybe you and Zhao Xiang are both very talented in this area, so work hard. It's very suitable for you, otherwise it would be better to stay like this. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Liu Xin fiercely refused, expressing her determination, and then made up her mind. I will do the opposite in the next game. And Xingzi did something that was absolutely impossible to advance. Soon, the next game came to Liu Xin. After she appeared on stage, the woman in front of her was very calm, and in all aspects she was more normal than the previous Tsumura Kotoko. She chuckled and said, "Are you my opponent? What a cute girl. However, in my opinion, handsome Pokémon are more suitable for me." Immediately, the bear apprentice was chased away. It looks like a bear standing on two legs. Its fur is beige and its eyes look very determined. There are white patterns on the body, mainly concentrated on the head and upper chest. There are also white hairs hanging on the back of the head, which looks like a white handkerchief. Its claws are black and the claws on its paws are upwards and sharp. Cute and handsome. Liu Xin liked it very much after seeing it. He clenched his fists and said, "How can I win? This will calm me down." Liu Xin took a deep breath and released the mutated little elephant. The look in Apprentice Bear's eyes gave the little elephant the desire to fight, and it immediately went into fighting mode. The flames and breath began to change, seeming more powerful. The referees felt the heat radiating from the air, the little elephant burning. Their eyes filled with shock. I didn't expect the little elephant wrapped in fire to be so handsome. Look at those eyes, full of fighting spirit and desire. It's really hard to stop. No, something is very wrong with you. Liu Xin had a bad feeling in her heart. She shook her head and whispered, "No, no, no, don't think this is an act. It's just because this guy wants to fight." The 5 referees actually gave the little elephant 3 votes. A narrow escape. No way. No way. Is this okay? Liu Xin and Itaguro were dumbfounded again. The woman in front smiled slightly and said, "In terms of appearance, the little flaming elephant is more handsome. I'm convinced." Next, there was a display of skills and movements. It's impossible to win if you use Tome and Spin again, right? Then let's perform the last special skill. What special skills does this guy have that can be used? He might lose the game, right? No, no, it's impossible to do nothing and win inexplicably. I have to do the opposite and do something completely inconsistent with the competition. The woman began to introduce her apprentice Xiang, who specializes in fighting wonderful. And suddenly the fragrance came from Liu Xin. His approach and display of special skills shocked everyone. What does this mean? Itaguro clapped his hands and said, "Sure, we will definitely lose. You can still win if you show a talent that is not at all beautiful. I will wash my hair tonight while standing on my head." It shocked all the referees, and his opponents were also shocked. Use ground thorns to create a stove, and then let the little elephant light a fire inside to turn it into a wild kitchen. You can cook directly on it. The little elephant is really a natural stove, very easy to use. How is it? After seeing this kind of behavior, it's impossible to judge victory for me, right? After all, this isn't beautiful at all. Liu Xin raised the corners of her mouth, seeking defeat with all her heart, thinking that she would definitely lose this time. However, the referee's remarks shattered her illusions. How beautiful. It has perfectly combined its own abilities and characteristics to become a natural cuisine. What other Pokémon can do that? Not only is it naturally beautiful, but it is also very meaningful and useful. It is truly wonderful. This display of expertise exceeds our expectations. It's incredible. Liu Xin collapsed on the spot when the vote was issued. He won and won again. Why can we still win when we've obviously done the opposite? Not to mention that Liu Xin couldn't understand it. Even Atohei couldn't understand it. Can he win? In the bathroom, Liu Xin and Atohiro sighed. What can I do to lose the game? I just plan to fail. Why can't I succeed, no matter what I do? Liu Xin couldn't understand it, and Itagiro was even harder to resist. I can only say that these referees have unique tastes, but this is the only thing you can win. Why don't you play seriously in the end? You'll be in the semi-finals before you know it. After this, Liu Xin reached the semi-finals by relying on his strange operations and confused behavior. At this moment, Anxiang Mori and AI Hatsukura are still selflessly fishing. Or thought that won't go away until you take the bait. Itaguro quickly gave Liu Xin some advice, and after much discussion, he guaranteed that the next game would be a sure defeat. Trust me, if you do this, you will definitely not make it to the finals. Liu Xin nodded vigorously and entered the competition venue, ready to show off his skills. But who would have thought that Liu Xin would win 10 minutes later? Because player Lindsay is unwell and cannot participate in this game, the winner of the first semi-final game is Mori Yasuka. Liu Xin was stunned. Itagiro patted him and said, maybe this is God's will. You can't lose, even if you want to. Chapter 70 Champion of the competition. Liu Xin decided not to say anything until the finals, and it was better not to do anything, otherwise who knows what would happen. Soon, his opponent appeared in front of him. A mature, well-developed, tall, and eye-catching young girl. She is really a little beauty, and will definitely not be weak if she can enter the finals. With this thought in mind, the opponent released her own Pokémon. It is a yellow bug-type Pokémon. The outside of its body is wrapped in clothing made of leaves, leaving only its facial features exposed. Located on top of the Baobao cocoon's head, the leaf cloak features a scissor-like antenna-like extension, while on both sides of the Baobao cocoon's body, there are 2 obovate leaves that are shaped like a cloud and have 3 ends. The eyes are a little determined and a little vague. The combination of the 2 is very attractive. How cute. Liu Xin couldn't help but admire her. She had an advantage in appearance. The little elephant appeared, with flames rising all over its body, looking boredly around, with the same lazy eyes. Liu Xin clenched his fists, and praised the little elephant in his heart. That's it. With unmotivated eyes and lazy expression, he will definitely be criticized. He was also tired and didn't fight. Can't it be boring when people see it? The host said excitedly. At the beginning of the finals, both players released their Pokémon, and both Pokémon were actually of the same temperament, extremely lazy. The same lazy expression depends on our referees. Which Pokémon should we choose more? Is that okay? The little elephant didn't show that look on purpose, but because he didn't really want to compete. Don't you realize? The referee said solemnly. It's the same lazy expression, but I like the little elephant better. It's like it's real, not fake. Brother, that's real. Can't you find it if you look carefully? This guy just doesn't want to participate in the competition, so he is forced to open his business. The second referee agreed. Well, that's true, but I'm more optimistic about Baobao Silkworm, because it's a little bit cuter. Give all the votes to Baobao-kun, and you will lose this round. In the end, the 2 scored 2-2-2, depending on the referee's final vote, which was very critical. Liu Xin silently thought in his heart, give me silkworms, give me silkworms, give me silkworms. He didn't want to continue to win inexplicably, and he was starting to feel a little uncomfortable wearing women's clothing. It's strange to be comfortable under the scorching sun when you're well dressed. How can I put it? I really like the appearance of both Pokémon, but I think the little elephant can better represent the scenery and environment at this time. It's like a little sun on the ground, so I give this vote to the little elephant. Elephant. The host said excitedly. I didn't expect that the appearance evaluation in the first round would be so fierce. It took a long time to get the result. The winner is Liu Xin and Liu Xin. Then let's watch the second round. Will the display of skills bring us any surprises? Liu Xin had a headache. He never expected that the last referee would be so foolish. Now he doesn't know what to do to lose the game. You want to see the sun, right? You want to feel the scorching sun, right? I'll give you a taste. Liu Xin whispered, "Little elephant, shoot a few fireballs into the air. Gather them together and make them explode. Open." When the little elephant hears that he is about to attack, he becomes more energetic and starts to slowly struggle. The flames all over his body began to gather, and the wind and waves began to heat up, causing the people around the referee to take a few steps back. The baby silkworm in front of him dodged even further, looking in surprise at the little elephant gathering fireballs. At this moment, the little elephant was engulfed in flames, and its small body contained terrifying power, creating a strong contrast of cuteness. Liu Xin had no idea that this method of attack would directly bring him praise and high scores broadcast. The terrifying fireball concentrated at one point and then shot heavily into the air. There are also fireballs flying in all directions, which looks quite beautiful from a distance. They collided with each other in the air, suddenly exploding into pieces and turned into pillars of fire that fell in a cylindrical shape. The meteorites fall on the sea with splashes and steam, which are beautiful and beautiful. It looks like a swarm of meteorites. Is this a combination of breakthrough skills? It's so beautiful, especially the combination of red and blue. It's impossible to look away. Itagiro put away his surprise and sighed. This is it. How to miss it? It's so beautiful, almost like fireworks in summer, and it blooms in the sea, adding a bit of romance. Liu Xin didn't pay too much attention, but said excitedly, "Innovation of new skills. Although I don't know how powerful it is definitely a group attack method. It seems to be good at blocking movement and destroying consumption. Fire meteor." Jumping up, his eyes filled with little pride and joy, very satisfied with his Barlight attack. You must know that this move is actually the same as a meteor. There are stones hidden in every falling flame. The high temperature generated by friction and burning releases a powerful impact. The opponents repeatedly applauded after seeing it, even though their own Bayo silkworm was still at a disadvantage, no matter how outstanding his performance was. Let Liu Xin win inexplicably. Win? Liu Xin had no sense of reality. He felt that this magnificent competition was almost like playing. Isn't it too simple? Don't talk about him. Itagiro covered his face. I can't believe it, even if you tell me. A man wearing women's clothing actually won the championship of the glamorous girls competition. It's more suitable for a girl, right? Liu Xin couldn't laugh or cry as he took the award, and the presenter comforted him. I'm crying with joy. I didn't expect the contestant Liu Xin to be so excited. You must have put a lot of effort into training your Pokémon. Otherwise how would you have achieved today's achievements and highlights? Let's give another round of applause to Moriyasuka. The applause made Liu Xin feel even more awkward. A panting voice came from behind Itagiro. How is the competition going? Can I still enter and participate in the competition now? When Liu arrived, Hatsukura Rei covered her mouth and said, do you have a twin sister or younger sister? Actually standing on the championship stage? Impossible, I'm alone. How can there be? After saying this, she looked at the little mutated elephant standing next to her and exclaimed, that's Liu Xin. Hatsukura Rei also thought at the same time, covering her mouth in disbelief. This grown man actually disguised himself as a man. Chapter 71. In the turbulent sea, the war begins. The man in front of me is actually disguised as a man, and still looks like Moriyanka. Why? Itagiro helplessly told the reason and the ins and outs, making Moriyanka feel guilty. It's all my fault. I had to catch a Pokémon before I left. Otherwise, Liu Xin wouldn't be like this, and would win the championship with tears in her eyes. How pitiful it is. Moriyanka couldn't bear it, and felt even more ashamed. However, drastic changes occurred at this moment. Violent tremors began, and the Sinnoh began to tremble, and soon the surrounding seawater began to move and churn, restless. What's going on? Everyone on the ship became extremely alert. Feeling that something bad was happening, water cannon, bubble light, countless water type attacks were launched, aimed at the extremely luxurious Saint Anuo in front of them. A guard shouted, "It's the Pokémon in the water. They started attacking us crazily for some reason. Someone has already taken measures to deal with it, but there are too many of them, and even the usually powerful Pokémon are starting to attack." Disaster level events are definitely not as simple as they seem on the surface. The host hurriedly evacuated and said, "I'm really sorry. It's not convenient for us to take the ship back to the port now and fight in the water. In fact, this sea is their world." When Liu Xin saw Liu Xin and the others coming, he immediately changed into men's clothes and asked with a solemn expression, "What happened?" Liu Xin asked Blue Crocodile to check, but he went there intact and came back with bruises. Blue Crocodile. Big Claw Crab, use props to treat it immediately. He said a few words, and Liu Xin translated and understood the general idea. It seems that someone is inciting and driving the ocean Pokémon, causing them to launch indiscriminate, extremely ferocious, and controlled attacks by others. It seems that something terrible happened within the ocean and they were well prepared to attack the Saint Anuo. You can't go back. The path ahead is blocked, and those Pokémon have no intention of getting out of the way. The only way is to fight, and the seawater was full of battle traces. But if it weren't a water type Pokémon, it would be at a serious disadvantage, and would have to rely on the helmet to fight. So the situation is very bad and the battlefield is chaotic. It is very difficult to say whether it can be brought back to the port. Ding, the host, triggered the mission to protect the Saint Anne, successfully arrived at the port, and crushed this conspiracy. If the mission is successful, you will receive a large amount of reputation, material rewards, related accessories, and 200 points. The rewards are very generous and seem completely incomparable to the previous tasks. Feel motivated. Liu Xin shouted, "Start helping the Saint Anuo return to the port immediately. We are all grasshoppers on the same boat now." Itohei looked around and said, "Our attack should be effective." The horse stretched its wings and soared into the sky, and Caracal stood on the horse's back, working together for the first time. Jet flames. Boomerang. The two attacks mixed together, directly enveloping the bone rod with terrifying flames that pierced the sea. Fiery and powerful impact. The lethality of combat is definitely not weak. A Gyarados soared into the sky, with dragon breath in its mouth. Big rock snake uses sweep. The moment the huge rock snake appeared on the hull, its weight increased a lot, but the effect was remarkable. Its large tail hit the Gyarados hard in the air, and it had no time to dodge. Boom. A loud noise was heard, and the body fell heavily into the ocean. The bone club swung into Karakura's hands and they worked together to defeat many Pokémon, but there were still Pokémon they couldn't deal with. Bite. Suddenly, an inexplicable telepathic attack fell upon the blazing horse, causing it to freeze in the void and the balance of its entire body began to become unstable. Karakura sways on top, let alone attacks. Whether it will be able to stay still is a question. Hatsukura AI immediately released Lalulasi, used telekinesis to cut off the control of telepathy. A faint pink wave of light appeared in the head area, cancelling the opponent's telepathy, and the Pokémon that sprang into action was clearly seen. It was a Gotha duck. She immediately aimed her water gun at Lalulasi and fired rapidly. Dragon Claw. The sharp-toothed land shark slashed quickly and cleanly. Its fighting spirit rose, but it was difficult for it to use its fists and kicks. The mutated little elephant burst into flames, and Liu Xin shouted, "Don't let those guys get close to the Saint Anne." The little elephant uses bar lights. Magnificent fireworks exploded, and this time the power was fully demonstrated. The fallen flints have incomparable attack power. Even the extremely defensive thorny shell sank directly into the sea after being hit. The impact of the meteorite was not weak. The piercing fire spreads. The flames above were all piercing fires that suddenly burned. The sea level is dyed a fiery red, beautiful, and attractive. It is far from enough. No matter how powerful the piercing fire is, it cannot withstand the impact of seawater, and can be extinguished with just a few back and forth hits. Can't take advantage. Liu thought for a moment and said, "If you can stand on the ice, wouldn't you be able to attack in the sea?" Hatsukura AI looked at her Lalulath and said, although my Lalulath is not good at fighting, but you can control ice cubes with your mind, and maybe you can cooperate. The idea began to emerge. The one Ankamori chose from the Pokémon Research Academy turned out to be the Ice-type Pokémon, Ukidouji. Yukiko is a small black Pokémon with an egg-shaped body, round fingerless hands, and fingerless feet. She has blue eyes and an upside-down smiling mouth, and her normal appearance gives Ukidou the expression of a chill. Snowboy's body is covered in a cone-shaped yellow cloak with orange edges and 3 diamond-shaped orange patches on the back of the cloak. Ice breath. Snowboy took a deep breath, and immediately the cold air from his body roared, intertwining with the ice around him. Immediately, ice picks appeared one after another, specially made slightly larger, so that the Pokémon could stand on them. Mind power. Lirulus and the metal monster began to help control the ice in front of them, so that the battle could begin in the sea. Fang Shark, Little Elephant, get up. Big Rock Snake is alert to the surroundings, and begins the intense phase of the war. It is indeed different to be able to directly attack the Pokémon in the water, but this will test their skills. Cooperation. Very large. It is not easy to mess with the Pokémon underwater. If it were not for the quick control of telekinesis, the ice pick would probably be chewed into pieces. Land Shark Fangtooth, give them a blast of dragon breath. Chapter 72 Naval and Defensive Warfare. A blow of dragon breath is quite powerful. The roaring dragon swung down with its fangs and claws and directly exploded with water splashes. Its attack power was powerful. Whose Pokémon are those? Their attack power is so fierce. I didn't expect there to be such powerful trainers on our ship. The powerful guards went to fight against the powerful Pokémon, while Liu Xin and the others were responsible for cleaning up the Pokémon that could be defeated. They are also these opponents in front of me. It's just that the force of the dragon breath was so great that the ice under their feet instantly shattered, and the Fang Shark also fell from it. Ice pick. Snowboy immediately picked up his ice picks and used his telekinesis to help the Fang Shark calm down. The cooperation was considered a success. Liu Xin let out a long sigh. Fortunately, you acted and reacted quickly, otherwise the Fangtooth land shark would have been in danger if it fell into the sea. The little elephant was no longer afraid, and multiple fireballs fell down, causing considerable damage. The sea turned into a sea of fire. Although it could only last for a short period of time, it was enough. The Saint Anu slowly advanced, and all the Pokémon blocking it dispersed. The battle became more and more intense, and the cooperation between them was tacit, but the situation was not good. It seems that the only beings who can exert an advantage are their 4-person team. The other beings are not rivals and frequently lose. After all, they are not specialized combat trainers, and cannot defeat those guys. As the saying goes, there are specialties in art. Although Liu Xin inexplicably won the magnificent contest, it does not mean that he is very good in this aspect. Fortunately, the Saint Ans is very well equipped, advancing majestically, and not many Pokémon can stop it. All the Pokémon that wanted to get close were repelled by Liu Xin and the others, but the consumption was too great. The Snowboy who continued to create ice cubes, the telekinetically controlled Lulus, and the metal monster were all exhausted, as was the little elephant who was crazily using fireballs. Hard to deal with. Big Rock Snake, use tail sweep, don't let them get close to the ship. Having a huge body has its advantages after all. With a single sweep, watermarks were drawn in all directions of the sea, and all the bodies were blown away. Mountain slide. Huge rocks gathered around them and then fell down with force. One Pokémon after another was knocked unconscious and sank to the bottom of the sea. The war grew more intense, but the situation did not improve. The Kirakara, the Fanged Land Shark, and the little elephant should all return. If we continue to fight like this, we won't be their opponents at all. We'll just be consumed alive. Sunanuo. I hope the hull is strong enough. Liu Xin's approach can reduce his own pressure and physical strength, but it will only expose the Saint Anuo to a lot of attacks. However, now they want to fight for a long time. This is the only way. The Pokémon that were knocked down just swam in the sea for a while, and then returned to the battlefield in an endless stream. Extremely difficult to deal with. Only now did Liu Xin realize what a big problem it was for Pokémon with only one attribute, and that there was nothing he could do when encountering terrain restrictions. In a defensive battle, these water-type Pokémon boarded the ship. This is a good opportunity. Liu Xin felt that he could do it again, and the corner of his mouth raised. Let me take care of these guys. Karakara, the fang-toothed land shark, is ready to act. Continue to clean up the guys around them. Karakara and the fang-toothed land shark stood in front, looking at the group of guys approaching indifferently. Thorny conch, gotha duck, gem starfish, king carp. There are countless of these Pokémon, and Liu Xin specifically heads towards areas with a lot of them. Their strength is not weak. It can even be said that when they are in a violent state, their combat effectiveness has improved in all aspects. Tidal wave. Water-type Pokémon know all the moves, and a single use of them has great power. If 4 of them are used at the same time, the effect is even more powerful. The gathered tidal vortex was like a storm, sweeping with astonishing power. Liu Xin took a deep breath and shouted, the fanged shark uses the dragon claws, and the Karakara uses the bone club to beat them up. Go. Liu Xin is probably the only trainer who dares to do this. The dragon claws covered the fanged land shark's claws, shining with a silver luster, and rushed forward with a roar. Karakara on the side showed no signs of weakness. The bone club and bone necklace in his hand lit up at the same time, and layers of gravel covered them to increase their power. The whirlpool-shaped tornado that passed in front of them was blocked by the two. Water splashed everywhere, and the sound of cutting could be heard inside. The sharp dragon claws mercilessly slashed out and rushed in quickly. The bone club's attack is simpler and cruder, with crazy strikes and creating a passage with force. Quickly charge in with unlimited power. The thorny shell shrinks its shell to increase defense and protect itself. Gotha duck did not retreat, but chose to attack head-on. The sharp claws shone brightly, and he quickly charged in, grabbing the dragon's claws at random. The starfish gem on the side used the power gem. The ruby in the chest area shone with a dazzling brilliance. He concentrated his power and shot it out with force. The target is the gotha duck and the sharp-toothed land shark that are fighting, but Karakara will not sit idly by. A stick fell from the sky, and the attack shattered. Karakara pressed down hard on his feet, and his petite figure approached like a ghost. Give it a punch, and send it away. The heavy blow hit the gem starfish, and the opponent's body was deformed due to its softness, and was severely knocked down, turning into a beautiful parabola, and entering the sea. He successfully killed the gem starfish instantly. Suddenly, a threat came from behind. It turned out that Carp King began to attack. The water flow wrapped around the tail and hit it hard, making a sneak attack. Perfect avoidance. The attack failed completely, and Karakara himself couldn't believe it. The moment the body feels threatened, it instinctively dodges, as if this perfect avoidance has become a natural instinct. Kara. He will show no mercy to sneak attacks. Another home run, and Magikarp was thrown into the bottom of the sea immediately afterward, causing a faint splash of water before disappearing. There is no doubt about the power of the dragon claws. With the blessing of the purple aurora, it can directly cut off the opponent's claws, and the nails break into the ground. Before the opponent could react, it added the last claw, and also flew towards the sea. Dragon's breath. Ordinary attacks may not be able to deal with the thorny shell, so let's send the opponent away with a mouthful of dragon's breath. With the terrifying power erupting, will the thorny shell dare to show its head? I don't even dare to beat it to death. It was directly sprayed out and disappeared without a trace. Perfect solution. Then, just as Liu Xin was about to transfer, the Pokémon threatening Fang Shark and Karakara appeared. Slowly climb up the hull, face the two, and roar. Chapter 73. Danger of Bagrock Snake, Catfish King. Liu Xin and the others quickly finished off their opponents, and were about to reach the next battlefield when the pressure dropped. The terrifying water flow turned into a shockwave, and rushed towards Liu Xin, directly attacking him. ? The fanged land shark and Karakara immediately sensed the threat and immediately approached at a very fast speed. But it was too late. The opponent's attack was too sudden, and he was unable to react. Even Liu Xin was frightened. I can't escape. What should I do? If he is attacked, he will be half disabled, even if he is not dead. This is at least brought about by someone's violent attack. Just when everyone thought that Liu Xin was about to be hit, a huge body blocked him. Boom. The sound came out twice in succession. The system in Liu Xin's mind heard an unpleasant sound. His eyes widened, and he looked at the large rock snake that fell in front of him. No, it shouldn't be like this. The body of the big rock snake can move quickly back and forth, but if it wants to fully approach this place, its speed is far from enough. So it gives up defense and converts it into speed to get closer. It was seriously injured in an instant, and cracks appeared on the rocks on its body. The situation was very serious. Everyone came to check. Hatsukura Rei had learned a lot. She touched the cracks on the big rock snake and said, "It's not good. The signs of life are slowly disappearing." Liu Xin didn't need her to remind her. Everyone saw the system values. The physical strength value was immediately removed, and the health value was damaged and continued to slowly decline. Damn it. The treatment must be resumed immediately, but the treatment center is on land. How to get there? Ito calmly said, "Transfer to the Pokémon Ball. I will take over." Time does not allow us to hesitate. Let's set off now. You know, the sea is not calm now. Level at will, many dream attacks will kill you together. Therefore, crossing the sea is very costly. At most 2 people can sit on the any horse, and for safety, it is better for Itaguro to be alone. Liu Xin put the big rock snake into the Pokémon Ball, then handed it over, and solemnly said, "If you really can't make it, then go back. I'll find a way." Itaguro accepted the Pokeball from Big Rock Snake, smiled, and said, "Don't look down on me. I promised to cross it for you. Isn't it just a few hundred meters away?" The distance that normally seemed not far away now seemed so far away. There are water Pokemon all over the sea level, and they attack like crazy. Liu Xin took a deep breath and said, "Go ahead, I'll cover you from behind." "We'll help too," the 2 women said, but the Pokemon that had just attacked appeared. Its figure slowly appeared from the side, dragging its huge body before everyone's eyes. The moment it appeared, everyone felt their scalp go numb. Why are there such terrifying Pokémon on board the ship? Where are the guards? Where have they gone? How do you fight this thing? You can kill us with just one attack. The ship suddenly became chaotic. Above, Liu Xin looked solemn. He was actually a level 35 Catfish King. The Catfish King looks like a giant catfish, with dark blue skin and a yellow belly. It has a pair of light blue fluffy lips, a pair of thin yellow beards growing from the corners of its mouth, and a yellow W-shaped mark on its forehead. The pectoral and pelvic fins are the same color as the skin, and the dorsal fin is light blue with 3 black spots. The eyes of this Catfish King turned blood red, obviously being stimulated or controlled. Logically speaking, this guy was attacking and competing with the ship's guards, but at this moment, he knew something. The ship guards were at a disadvantage, and in a difficult position. It is better to rely on oneself than to rely on others. Liu Xin can neither escape nor hide. After all, Itaguro will definitely attract the monster's attention the moment he takes off, so he must attract it in advance. Although there was a huge disparity in combat power, they had to step forward to fight. Liu Xin calmly said, "Fangtooth Landshark, Caracara, and Little Elephant. This battle is not as simple as you imagine. Are you ready?" Fangtooth Landshark, Little Elephant. The 3 boys were full of fighting spirit and couldn't wait to rush forward and give each other a series of attacks, which were very brutal. Liu Xin shook his head and sighed. "There's really nothing you can do with your temper, so let's attack first." Using the earth spikes together, especially with Caracala's strengthening blessing, they all joined together to form a huge spike and shoot out. Catfish King's eyes flashed with disdain. He opened his mouth wide, and air currents and waves sprayed out from it. Water vapor turned into impact force, instantly cutting the ground thorn into pieces. This big mouth is really terrifying. Hatsukura Rei and Moriaxiang planned to come over to help, but was blocked by Liu Xin. "This is not a battle you can get involved in. Just deal with the little guys around you. It's also about using bonds. Do it." "Do you remember?" Moriaxiang immediately thought of contract construction, and was a little surprised as to why Liu Xin would mention this. Liu Xin immediately added, "I found that after these guys boarded the hull, their attack power was weakened a lot, and the impact will probably be smaller. So let's see if we can come to an agreement and counterattack together. Otherwise we will win. I won't be able to withstand the arrival of reinforcement. After all, the current situation is not good. My side is losing ground, and the order is extremely chaotic. If it weren't for Liu Xin and the others as the front force, the entire ship would have been destroyed. Liu Xin was under great pressure to deal with this catfish king, and it was even more difficult to deal with the harassment of many Pokémon around her. At this moment, Axiang Mori began to attack. Blue Crocodile, use Crush. Big Claw Crab, use Foam Ray. Hatsukura AI didn't stop, and followed Morianka to attack together, focusing fire on one Pokémon, which was impossible to resist. Even a level 30 Sea Thorn Dragon was knocked to the ground. The red color in her eyes began to dissipate, and she gradually regained consciousness. Axiang Mori immediately stepped forward, and signaled the giant crab to use healing techniques. During the process, she said, I know you don't want to attack us, and are controlled by others, right? I don't blame you, but could you please come help me? Help me protect the Saint Anu and rescue your compatriots. Sea Thorn Dragon. After the Sea Thorn Dragon recovered, its consciousness cleared and it agreed. A red thread of contract appeared on the two of them, forming a corresponding bond. The Sea Thorn Dragon helps her resist and fight, while Mori Axiang wants to help the Sea Thorn Dragon save her compatriots. Chapter 74, Strong Enemy, Another Mutation. The Sea Thorn Dragon joins the battlefield, and Mori Yasuka doesn't need to take command, just follow the instinct to attack. Hatsukura AI next to her was very surprised when she saw this. What kind of operation is this? Obviously, the uncle didn't tell the people at his university at that time, and the first people to find out about it were Liu Xin and the others. Mori Axiang didn't have much time to explain, and whispered, let's attack together as many times as possible to convince the Pokémon to cooperate. Goldfish King, Mary Luli, Swamp King, Giant Claw Crab, and Gem Starfish. More and more Pokémon are forming contracts with Morianka. If there were so many contracts in normal times, he would definitely be too busy. But this time is different, because they all have a single goal, to restore stability to the sea area. With the addition of these Pokémon, the situation is gradually returning, and at least the ship is safe. They don't dare to go back to sea. Who knows if they will be instantly controlled if they return. Be careful when sailing the ship that lasts for 10,000 years. Hatsukura AI's eyes were filled with stars, and she said, it's amazing. You can actually cooperate with so many Pokémon. Isn't Xiaoxiang too strong? It seems that I'm just like you. How do you do it? You can teach me. Is that so? Mori Axiang and Hatsukura Wu were very proud, and immediately felt proud. Wiping their noses, he said, this is a very technical skill. Not everyone can learn it. It requires hard work for a long time, so it will not be taught for a while. I will teach you slowly, and make sure that you gain a lot. Chucha and AI heard this and said excitedly, okay. I suddenly feel that you are so brilliant, Xiaoxiang. The relationship between the two women was inexplicable during the battle. It has improved a lot. The battle situation on Liu Xin's side was very anxious. The Catfish King in front of me not only has water attributes, but also earth attributes, so it is a little difficult to attack it. The skills that can be used here can also be used by the other side. In addition, the danger prediction feature of this product puts it in a tricky state, making it unable to instantly kill and cause huge damage instantly. There is no choice but to continue fighting. The opponent's body has the property of having wet skin, making it easy for attacks to be deflected. Make a fuss. The Catfish King launched an attack. Its huge body began to twist, and the water flowing from its body flowed out. I thought it was dancing funny, but the next second it shot out and attacked directly with its own body. It continuously launches attacks and hits randomly, but the damage effect is extraordinary. It is somewhat similar to Caracala's Bone Club, but it is much more comical, and the hit rate is pitifully low. Little Elephant, charge the flame attack, and add a layer of piercing fire to it. The fire swallowed and engulfed the little elephant. Except for its eyes, which could be clearly seen, its body was completely turned into flames. With a roar, its body rushed forward rapidly, at a very fast speed. Boom. The moment the two collided, the flames also spread out and burned the Catfish King. He immediately stopped the opponent's rampage and rolled on the ground, trying to extinguish the flames. But this is an armor-piercing fire. How can it be extinguished? If you say it's extinguished, Fangtooth Landshark used Dragon's Claw to give it a bleeding effect. Approaching quickly, the Fangtooth Landshark's attack fell, incomparably sharp. The Catfish King paid no attention to the claw and focused on extinguishing the flames. Really slow. Screams could be heard, and several more wounds appeared on the Catfish King's body. Blood flashed, and the bleeding effect was activated. His physical strength dropped drastically at the speed of riding the bike, and he was out of breath within moments, unable to continue fighting at any time. Liu Xin calmly said, "You were the one who severely injured the big rock snake, so don't think I'll let you off easily. Caracara, give him a bone club to hit him at random." His hand was covered in stones. "Come over immediately." The Catfish King was about to move his body and Liu Xin waved his hand. "Little elephant, Barlied." A fireball exploded on his head and fire meteors fell from all directions, hitting him, making him scream in pain, and the place was blocked. Unbearable. In an instant, Caracala's bone club fell. Hit hard, the soft body was dented, and multiple attacks immediately connected. One club after another, the blows continued. Logically speaking, this should have solved the other party, but a strange sound came out. Snoring. The Liu Xin soul attack was sent out, and chaos poured out from the Catfish King's mouth. It's hard to hear, it's extremely harsh. Unable to continue attacking, Caracalla immediately backed away and covered his ears, as if wearing a mask of pain. The Pokémon around him found it very unpleasant, but the lethality of the snoring was still considerable. When I took a closer look, this guy was actually sleeping. Question mark? Just sleeping? This is one of Catfish King's abilities, sleeping. Used in conjunction with snoring, it can effectively resist attacks. I saw that his defense and physical strength slowly recovered, allowing him to continue fighting. Isn't that right? Does it also come with recovery? If you want to get close to him, you must overcome this disgusting snoring. Caracara, Fanged Landshark, and the little elephant all shook their heads. They really couldn't get close. Liu Xin shouted, "Caracara, can't you use the boomerang?" The meaning is very clear. It indicates that, although you can use it, you basically can't hit it, and the opponent interferes and reduces your hit rate and sense of direction. Liu Xin complained heavily about the disgusting skills. It took a lot of effort to kill the opponent, but now it seems that it will be another fierce battle. After all, the opponent hasn't used many powerful attacks so far, so he can really be dealt with. Just as Liu Xin was thinking, the snoring and sleeping ended. Although the bleeding effect and piercing fire are still on his body, most of his physical strength has been restored, and he can fight again immediately. Turbid Stream. The turbid and muddy water was spit out from the mouth. It contained 2 water attack attributes and its lethality was considerable. The turbid water spit out from its big mouth almost turned into landslides and its attacks were extremely fierce. Caracara, use the windmill to blow it away for me. Fang Shark, little elephant, use your strongest attack to attack the Catfish King. Caracalla began to spin his bone rod and the little windmill began to spin rapidly, releasing a powerful wind and aura. The Fang Shark is gathering dragon breath and the little elephant is charging energy. Throw together. The target is the Catfish King in front of you. The dragon roared, and flames surged straight towards the Catfish King who had no means of resistance. However, at this moment, the terrifying water cannon attack rushed towards the little elephant and the dragon breath from 2 directions at the same time. Chapter 75 The Mastermind. The water cannon's attack was too sudden, similar to the attack on Liu Xin at the beginning. Liu Xin frowned slightly and roared, "Little elephant, get out of the way." The little elephant that was in the attack of the charged flames immediately changed direction, causing the water cannon to miss. The dragon's breath around it was instantly destroyed without any resistance. It was obvious that the opponent's attack power was not weak. Caracalla barely managed to block the turbid current in front of it, but it also consumed a lot of physical strength. The 3 Pokémon on their side began to pant, and it was unrealistic to continue the protracted battle. Another Pokémon slowly came out from behind King Catfish, and there was actually a second difficult Pokémon. Only then did Liu Xin confirm that it was him, not King Catfish, who attacked in the first place. As for why the water arrow turtle appeared from behind, he didn't know and didn't want to know. The water arrow turtle is the evolved form of the camene turtle and its size is several times larger. The body is dark blue and its front and hind limbs are short and thick, divided into segments due to joints, and both have 3 fingers. Its tail no longer resembles a wave, but becomes a stubby blue tail. Its lower jaw is creamy white, and its ears are triangular. Its torso is covered by a huge, thick turtle shell. The back of the turtle shell is brown, the belly is light yellow, and there are white edges in the middle. 2 water cannons protrude from the front end of the turtle shell, and these 2 water cannons can be retracted into the turtle shell. The key is that its eyes are not red. This means that Blastoise was not controlled, but attacked the Pokémon on its own. Wild Pokémon or Pokémon with a trainer? After Liu Xin put on the glasses, she could see the red joining lines. It is a Blastoise with a trainer. Could he be one of the masterminds behind this? Kakala, take care of that Gothard duck. The speed was so fast that Gothard duck didn't even have time to react before being knocked down with a stick. Consciousness barely recovered, Liu Xin started talking, and the 2 of them reached a contract. The 3 of you wander around and play. Don't fight head on or get caught. I'll catch someone from behind. Gothard duck, follow me. Only then can there be consciousness and combat sense. As for Gothard duck, he was led towards the owner of the water arrow turtle, and Liu Xin followed behind to ask some questions. The key is how to stop these riots, and who is behind them? Gothard duck and Liu Xin quietly infiltrated into the interior of the ship, where the guy was near the cockpit. Soon, the opponent's face came into view. What a familiar face. This is one of the referees. That's right. Liu Xin was very impressed by this guy's face. He was commanding the water arrow turtle from a distance. Where are these guys' trainers? No matter how many there are, my mission is to create chaos on the ship. I just spray them directly. Sound waves were emitted from Gothard duck's forehead, and he was immediately caught. No matter how powerful he is, he can't break free from Gothard duck's telekinesis. What's going on? Question mark? Who dares to attack me unexpectedly? You have the ability to appear. Liu Xin slowly walked out and said coldly, you attacked me with a water cannon before. Now it's my turn to imprison you, so it's settled. How do you pay the bill for hurting my big rock snake? I don't have a good temper and I don't have much time, so how about we settle everything quickly? He's just a 12-year-old child. What a coincidence. Liu Xin is 12 or 13 years old on the outside, but he has a lot of soul inside. 10 years old. The uncle who deals with such a traitor will naturally not be merciful. Strengthen your telepathy. And give him a water ball on his head to try drowning. If you can't hold on, remember to clasp your hands together and beg for mercy, otherwise I won't be responsible for anyone's life. The referee was thinking. The next second he said that this was the only way to do it. He regretted it. The power of thought throughout his body suddenly strengthened, and soon a water ball surrounded his head, and there was only water flowing around him. I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. He struggled with all his might, but the pressure caused by his mental power and the ceiling within the water ball made him feel miserable. He clasped his hands together immediately. If you don't give up now, you will definitely die. You didn't even last a minute, dude. You can't do it. The referee, who was breathing and coughing like crazy, looked at Liu Xin with great fear. However, his entire body was imprisoned by telekinesis. Liu Xin took out all the Pokemon balls from his body, tied him up with ropes, and said calmly, now can you tell me what I asked? The referee wanted to be tough. But Liu Xin won't be merciful, and will use the cruelest method possible. He could only give up. He told the whole story, but he didn't even know who was behind it. I really don't know. The referee shook his head and said, I really don't know. They were dressed in black, and couldn't see their faces or bodies clearly. They just gave me a lot of benefits and let me do something when the Saint Anno accident happened. As for other things, I don't know anything. Liu Xin sorted it out, and found that he didn't know the cause of the mutiny or the person behind it. This guy just knew that there were people on the ship and what he was going to do, so if he asked, he didn't ask. However, it was not all useless. He directly threatened the referee in front of him to help him fight. Let go. The duck continue to oppress and threaten him here. Okay, why don't I tell them to attack? The sharp-toothed land shark and the others were suddenly a little surprised. The Blastoise did not attack them, but instead turned around to attack the Pokémon around them. The first to suffer was the Catfish King. This guy was wiped out in one shot, and the battle ended abruptly. Kara. They were extremely confused, weren't they, teammates? Why are you still hitting and stabbing people in the back? It's a bit ungrateful, but at least the crisis was over. They didn't rest too much, but instead helped the Pokémon around them fight. On the other hand, on Otaguro's side, the distance of a few hundred meters was far from easy and simple. No matter how fast the fire horse is, it can't escape the attacks of these Pokémon below. They are too dense, like a rain of bullets. Otaguro cursed, "I will never work as a porter again in the future. It's thankless and very dangerous." Just as he barely dodged many attacks and was about to reach the port, a smiling greeting came. "Thank you very much for your hard work, but it's a pity that this road is blocked." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.